Here we go, the Z Show. Do, 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 do. Bum, bum. Yeah. It's so peaceful. It always starts out that way. But invariably, within an hour or two, we find ourselves in usually a bit of a ruckus. It all depends. You never really know. You never know who's going to show up here on Z Show. It is the internet, the World Wide Web. Is that even a term anymore? World Wide Web, WWW, the net. I guess it's internet now. I like the web. I'm going to bring that back. But that's right. You've found your way back to Z Show. Greetings. Like this guy, Mr. Three Fingers. Right on time, Three Fingers. Take it easy. Big fella. Take it easy, Mr. Three Fingers. Is that invitation still open to your beach, your oceanside palatial palace, Mr. Three Fingers? Let me know. I'm looking for a place to vacation. It is the middle of winter where I am, because I am in the northern hemisphere. Not like you guys down there, quote unquote, below the equator. It's always weird for me how the seasons are inverted and switched. It's still funky to me. Like to think about that. It's so strange. So, but I will say, I was outside and I saw the tulips starting to push out of the ground. Which I always forget each year that the tulips come up this time of year. Which to me is a great sign. I took that as like an omen for better times. Well, warmer times at least. But to me, warmer's better. They're synonymous in my book. Yeah, Heidi. The tulips were popping up in the little garden outside here. And I said, oh, yeah, there's the tulips. Right on time. Just like that. Amazing. Seasons come, seasons go. That's perfect. The perfection in the seasons and in the time, in the sky. It still amazes me that the sun always rises. Well, I guess it always rises until it doesn't. But so far, that hasn't happened. It comes faithfully each and every day. It is so amazing. I know Austin Murphy knows how amazing it is. Much like myself, it seems like Mr. Austin Murphy has blue screened on reality and has returned to a point of wonder and awe, where we could just stand by and go, isn't this amazing? Whatever this is. Even more interesting, though, Mr. Murphy, maybe you'll let us know how that date went at Disneyland that you apparently participated in last week. Hopefully it went well. Hopefully it went well. And by going well in this day and age, that's not a very high standard. Like, to me, going well means like, you didn't get locked up. Because the way I have things pegged when it comes to the relationship between men and women, boy, it is a rough ride out there, everybody. Allegations abound. It appears like if a lady's a little bit dissatisfied in the interaction, she can kind of just make up an allegation whenever she wants, accuse you of something, and then you got to deal with it. Doesn't even matter how many years later. 20 years later, allegation. It's funny. All of a sudden, somebody starts maybe hitting it big. Maybe they make a little bit of money, get a little bit of fame, and all of a sudden, all these ladies come out of the woodworks claiming what a bad guy that person is. Weird culture. Believe all women. I think we might want to revisit the whole believe all women trope. We might want to rethink that believe all women thing. Because after some scrutiny, seems like maybe we shouldn't believe all women. Austin Murphy says he had a great time. All right, Austin. Good stuff. Kudos to you. Rose 777 says, bitches make me sick. Rose is apparently MGTOW, which is interesting because she's a lady. Well, that's the thing, Rose, about these socially engineered 304s. They're empowered now. It's empowering to give it up and express their sexuality, like the wonderful Dr. Kelly Brogan, of course. That's empowering. Yeah, I guess it's empowering now to do like the easiest thing you could do as a lady is open your legs and give it up. It's probably the easiest thing you could do, really. So that's empowering now, I guess. But but then after you do that, then of course it's doubling. It's doubling the empowerment when then you just could have make a false allegation against the guy. You basically decide you can remove consent 20 years later. It's like, well, I consented at the time, but now 20 years later, I decided that I wasn't really consenting. I removed consent 20 years later. How's that work? How can we have a functional society? That's kind of like the norm. And people want to know what's wrong with the male-female dynamic. You see all these women on social media complaining that they can't find a good man and no man will approach them and guys are just weak and and cowardly. It's like, yeah, okay, maybe, or maybe, just a little bit of catching a little bit of trim is not really worth me sacrificing 5 to 7 years in state penitentiary. I'm just saying, it just seems to me that a lot of guys kind of like did the math. The math's not hard on this, guys. It's like, all right, this chick's had a couple drinks at the bar. She wants to go home with me. She's thrown herself at me, but I don't know. Because I saw what happened to my friend over here who almost went to jail for like 7 years. Basically, I think I'll just drink another beer, go home, smoke a joint, and watch the Rocky series 1 to 5 as I fall asleep. I don't know. Is that just my life? Who knows? Maybe I'm just projecting here a bit. Much love, though, everybody. We need to calm down as a society. Everybody needs to calm down. Especially you ladies. Especially you ladies. You need to calm down. Settle in. And no, I'm not talking to you directly, Miss Heidi. See, sometimes when I get up here and I just start talking like this, Heidi in her mind, she feels like it's like a one-on-one thing. I know it, Heidi. I just know that about you. Like Heidi has some illusion that it's like me and her in a private convo right here. It's not about you, Heidi. So just settle down, whatever's going on. It's not about you. It's not about you either, Lindsay. God. Where are you, Lindsay? She shows up usually each show. Either that or she listens in silence for the first half of the show and tries to make a decision whether it's, safe to come out and show herself. But much love, Lindsay. I know you're out there somewhere, which is cool. Which is cool. For anybody who missed it, the lovely Lindsay and I had an interaction a couple shows ago. And I don't know. I look forward to more interactions with you, Lindsay. I do. Although, I must admit, part of it was a little disconcerting. Part of it was a little strange. Maybe even creepy. You did admit that you have a crush on me. Which, I'm never going to let go. I'm going to hold on to that one. But I must admit, it was a little kind of scary, our interaction. For anybody who wasn't there, it kind of was something like this. It was like, hi, Lindsay. Welcome to the show. And you were like, hi, Z. Hi, Lindsay. Like, this would have been like if like Lindsay wanted to talk to me after the show, like in private. I didn't do it because, I was kind of scared for my life, but I imagine it would go something like this. Hi, Z. It's me, Lindsay. I know, Lindsay. I get it. How are you? I'm fine, Z. Are you, Lindsay? Are you fine? Doesn't seem like you were fine. My audience kind of maybe thought there was a little issue maybe that you had with me. I was kind of picking up on something. What do you mean, Static Warrior? No. Okay. I don't really know where to go with this, Lindsay. Do you want to meet up? You want to go out for a drink? Second thought, maybe I'm not so sure about that drink. This is weird. Why is it weird, Z? I mean, I have a crush on you, but it doesn't mean I like you. All right, Lindsay. Well, you're at my show like every day, and I'm not really at the Lindsay Smith show trying to thirst trap you. Like you're the one who kind of comes here, sort of inserts yourself like into my life. I don't know. I guess we can have a relationship. Wouldn't be the first time I basically gambled my life on a little piece of pussy. I mean, I might as well keep my streak going. Lindsay? What, Z? Oh, you're still there? Yes, I'm still here. I'm just ruminating on whether or not I should kill you or ride your baloney pony like a thirsty cowgirl. It's weird, Lindsay. It's a weird way to look at life. Is she here, chat? I'm not looking at the chat. Is she here? I found theme music for Lindsay, so I had to try it out. I have my eye on you, Z. Don't worry. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Why do all my relationships turn out to be like a fatal attraction type of thing? Like, why? Why can't I just have a nice, normal relationship with these ladies? Like, why are they just all inherently, like, hopelessly dysfunctional? Like, why? All right, Z, I'll sleep with you, but on one condition. What is that, Lindsay? That you never call me. All right, I could do that. Oh, really? You don't want to call me? What, you don't like me? But you just said that you didn't want me to. Yeah, but if I wanted you to, would you? So are we gonna have sex now, or? Okay, Lindsay. Bye. Oh, all right. I gotta get out of this. I gotta get out of that. Much love, Lindsay. Maybe we'll talk later. Who knows? Yeah, Dr. Evals. Psycho girlfriend music. Psycho Lindsay music, at least. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not you ladies. Maybe it's just my fault. Like, maybe it's my fault you guys just kind of show up here and cyberstalk me and kind of pretend like, I don't know, that it's the opposite. Heidi says Z wants a bang and dash. Is that what it's called now? Bang and dash? What? Heidi? Yeah, Heidi. That's what I want. What's the problem with that? You heard our friend Axis Rat Blood. He was up here. He hasn't entertained a woman in 15 years, and he's just fine. Mention that. Axis Rat Blood's like my new role model. Why not, Axis? You're doing something right. Our poll says Lindsay blocked me. That's okay, our poll. I'm pretty sure she'll be blocking me after this. I'm just saying. Speaking of Axis Rat Blood, for anybody who missed last night's show, Axis, I think, had a pretty fruitful experience on Z Show last night. He underwent a therapy session with the lovely Dr. Jelly Brogan. And no, not Dr. Kelly Brogan. No, Dr. Jelly Brogan. And I think Axis really had a breakthrough. So, oh, man. Morgan says, I love you, Z. You're on the same time as Paul Cook. I don't know who Paul Cook is, Morgan. Maybe you'll have to let me know. Maybe I'll have to be introduced to whoever Paul Cook is. But yeah. Again, if you missed last night's show, I don't even know how to explain it, but our friend Rose 777 pretty much gave us a Gilda Radner level segment where she presented as the lovely Dr. Kelly Brogan. So anybody interested, you might want to check that out. I don't know when the next time we'll see Dr. Kelly is. I could imagine Rose has to get into her method. It's not just something she could turn on and off. At least I hope not, Rose. Because if so, like, that might make you, like, you know, probably psychotic in some way. No, Angela, that was not the same music that I was playing with Cadence, but similar level of creepiness. As you can tell, like, they both embody like a very similar characteristics. You know, could you imagine if Cadence and Lindsay teamed up against yours truly? Could you imagine? Holy mackerel! I'd be really done for. Much love, Cadence. We know you're around. We see you poking your head in chat every so often. Yeah, Heidi, you don't have to tell us every time you go feed your dogs. Not everybody's like hopelessly connected to chat like a virtual umbilical cord as you are. Yeah, okay, Heidi. Good. Go feed your dogs. You're listening. We don't need every like little move. We don't need that. Heidi, you are so plugged into this metaverse. If I go on a channel, look, she says she can't help it. I know you can't, Heidi. That's why I'm going to go easy on you. I need theme music for you, Miss Heidi. If I pop on a channel, Heidi's there. Doesn't matter who it is, Heidi's there. Yeah. Well, it's addictive, or you're addicted. Um, Speaking about it, here's Harmon. It's just right. It says, Rose, did you listen to Ren? You got me thinking, Harmon. I was going to look up this Ren now. Now I'm intrigued. I'm like, who's Ren that Harmon's so excited about? Oh, newsflash. We also found out yesterday that our friend Harmon Walker has never had even one sip of alcohol, not even beer or anything, which is not completely surprising, Harmon, because I know you were raised Mormon, like, Latter-day Saint kind of thing. And I know they're against like alcohol. So who knows, Harmon? If I ever make my way out west, when I do my Z tour, which I may do at some point, where I just go around the country and meet up with various individuals from the metaverse. If we ever meet up, Harmon, maybe we'll go out for a beer. And, we'll film it. We'll get it on video. Harmon drinking his first beer. I'm that guy. I'm like everybody's bad influence. Why not? Evelyn says she can't find anything to watch on TV anymore. She's on YouTube. Well, there's really nothing on TV, so I don't blame you. Just be careful, Evelyn. You don't want to get like super addicted like Heidi is. She's way too into it. She's way too deep. Although I use it to my benefit because Heidi's my ears. She's my ears and my eyes. If something goes down, she kind of lets me in on it. So she's one of my informants. I have informants, really. Yeah, I know, Harmon. I know you're Mormon and you guys don't really do stuff like that. Which is tough. Yeah, Cult of Culture says you could be watching Hulu. TV's trash. It just is. Everything's trash nowadays. The music's trash. Fucking movies, complete trash. It's difficult. There was a golden era of Hollywood. Like I said, it's always been programming. We know that. The evidence is incontrovertible at this point. Hollywood was programming since its inception. All right, since its inception. Total propaganda. We know that. But we know that the propaganda was much better back then. It was more enjoyable. It was engaging. It wasn't completely dystopic and despairing. There was something to the old time Hollywood. There really was. I kind of miss it. I've said it before. I was the kid who the TV raised me. Movies, really. My parents didn't. I mean, they were there, like they fed me and gave me shelter, but they were involved in their own stuff. And in retrospect, I'm kind of glad it was like that. But I was the kid who just watched movie after movie. And again, like I was like one of these kids where like I could watch whatever I wanted. Like there was no restrictions. Like when I was 7, I was watching rated R, PG-13, all that stuff. Kind of shaped my personality. Like at a very young age, I was watching like adult comedies, which was cool because the comedies in the 80s, not only were they much funnier than they are now because they were way less PC, but They always had a fair share of young, perky boobies, really. Naked boobs. That was 80s comedy movies. If you did a funny movie in the 80s, there was a fair share of naked co-eds running around. That was my childhood. So don't blame me for what you see here in front of you. Blame 1980s Hollywood, please. Evelyn says this is the best psychological thriller on the Toxic Airwaves YouTube. Well, I appreciate that. Maybe if we get Lindsay back up here, we could really give you the toxic thriller. Again, like you could have something like Cape Fear, Single White Female, Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction's the best. Maybe that's what my show, we'll just turn my show into, I'll just really engage with some of these toxic ladies and we'll go full soap opera. We'll see how long I last. That's right, ladies. Your boy Z's here to entertain all of you dysfunctional, insecure, broken women. Hell, seems to be my life's purpose at this point. That's right. Z's here, ladies. Just keep showing up at my doorstep. A bunch of stray cats. For some reason, like after, I've termed it the alpha widow syndrome. Heidi knows. I'm an alpha widow magnet. Like they've spent their 20s going through, like, you know, the captain of the football team, the CEO, you know, the unemployed, you know, drug dealer who's like 6'2", has 6-pack abs and he's tatted up. They've done that for years. Then they rock around to their like late 30s, early 40s, and they realize those guys kind of lost their number and aren't really looking for them, and somehow show up on my doorstep. I am the alpha widow magnet. Very strange. Oh well. I guess it could be worse. Yeah. Weird. Very weird. I mean, I can go through my... Rose says she's broken. Oh no. Rose, there's a sock account. It says Rose777 attention whore. I'm broken. Am I going to have to ban you? It's probably Mitchell. Evelyn says Dr. Strangelove. What? That's one of my favorite movies, by the way, Dr. Strangelove. I don't know if I could let this Rose sock account stay in here. That's too much. I'll ask Rose what she thinks about it. The Rose sock account says 5'4", $190. What? Yeah. And then it says, I'm broken. What the fuck? Oh, God. This is too much. This whole experience is... All right, let's get this damn show started, man. What the fuck? Unbelievable. Hey, Rose, you put it out there, Rose. It's kind of what happens. Like I said, I think Rose has more guts and courage than any of us. She apparently spent hours and hours last night with Mr. Snafu Snaps. Talk about a rabbit hole. Fucking total rabbit hole, man. Hey, Mr. Snaps, if you come on my show today, maybe we could try to have a conversation. I doubt it. Because you're like the ultimate example, Mr. Snaps, of the loop. You're not interested in moving on. You want the loop. You want to get on here and just scream the same things over and over and over because you're frustrated. We figured that out about you, Snaps. You're frustrated. You just want to loop. So you're expressing that frustration on me and other people. I know it's true. We all know it's true. Rose got to the bottom of your psychological issues. You had a bigger YouTube channel, something happened, and now you're pissed off. You don't want to see other people like here doing better than you. It's all right. We understand you, Snafu. We're here for you. We here at the Z Show, we will extend the hand of compassion to you, brother. Brother Snapper. All right. Let's wind up. Let's get this fucking airship off the ground. The Z airship runs on hydrogen. We're not afraid of hydrogen here. Whatever happened to hydrogen airships? Isn't it weird how they got rid of them? I always talk to you guys about hydrogen. Isn't it amazing that that one simple gas not only can basically give the airship shift its lift, but also it can power. Could use combustion to power the engines. You could basically run the whole ship off hydrogen, which, by the way, you can make from water and just a little bit of electricity. You wonder why they got rid of it? Oh, man, do I go off on this Jag? I'll save this Jag. I've done it already. Welcome to the new world, everybody. Yeah, I'll save it. All right. Let's get the show on the road. Where's my camera? Hi, folks. Hola. Greetings. Yeah, Benton, we talked about hydrogen yesterday, man, and how easy it is to produce with basically some stainless steel like plates, like a 12-volt battery and water, and like a distiller. And you could separate the hydrogen right out, dude, and use it in a car. You're right, Benton, exactly. But here's my question, Benton. Why are they not putting the research into these and all these subsidies, building an infrastructure around these hydrogen cars? Why is it all electric? Where we need all this high level of technology to create the batteries, produce the batteries, insane amounts of lithium, which is not abundant by any means. Oh, but maybe we'll harness one of these satellites. We'll harvest the lithium off the satellites. Or the moon, who knows? But yeah, where's the hydrogen? And don't tell me it's combustible and it'll blow stuff up, because have you seen these Tesla cars when they catch on fire? You can't put the fire out. It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, that's right. It's all about the money. Exactly. Anyway. Official opening commencing now. Good evening, everybody. Greetings and salutations. Welcome back to Z Show. That's right. You found your way to the end of the rainbow, the bottom of the rabbit hole, and we are broadcasting live and in living color around the level horizontal realm. That's right. This realm called Earth. Earth, our home. Mother Earth, we love you. We salute you. Mother Gaia, you are here for all of us. You provide everything we need. I'm not interested in any other places. I don't care about them. I'm interested in you, Mother Earth. You're my first love. You'll be my last love. And I'm never going to let you go. All right, everybody. We're going to have a great show tonight. As always, much love. Yeah. Who's here? Truth Hurts TV, much love. Somewhere in time, as always. Flat Sabbath coming at you. Sterling Ray in the house. Dr. Evels, Evelyn, Shifty Eyes, Shady, much love. Jay Craft coming at you. Say Pearl, much love. Angela Baby Carson, as always. Benton, Mr. Benton. Don Juan DeMarco coming at you. Flat Sabbath Graffiti Tattoo. Don't judge me. Boy, don't judge me. Each night I see you and I just go, I like that lady. Tracy, much love. Tracy, our friend Morgan. Rose 777, the attention whore. That is so not nice. That is so not nice. Lex Animata, good to see you again, Lex. Our friend Harmon Walker says nothing beats Fast Times at Ridgemont High. That's right, Harmon. I bet nothing was beating. I'll just let that one go. But I do love the Phoebe Cates pool scene, Harmon. I'm sure you did too. That was right in your wheelhouse, guaranteed. Unindoctrinated as always. The Cult of Culture, one of my favorite names. Flat Sabbath, much love, and the rest. All right, y'all. We have a good show lined up. Great show lined up. Full of copious amounts of truthisms and truthiness. But in the meantime, let's take a brief musical interlude to allow me to get ready for the next segment. Just a brief interlude. It's not going to be long. Not long at all. Don't go anywhere. More Z show in a few. Take it away, Mr. Nathan Sanders.
This is for Anne Marie in Beverly Hills, by request. Stars shining bright above you, night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore trees, dream a little dream of me.
Everybody.
Say nighty-night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me while I'm alone as blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Anne Marie, my former roommate, an amazing person, a survivor. And an incredible soul, a beautiful spirit on earth. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries far behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Dream a little dream of me. Dream a little dream of me. If you would like to request a song, feel free. If I can sing it, I'll do it. But this one was for Anne Marie in Beverly Hills.
Thank you, Nathan. As always, good sir. All right, let's get into it. Let's just jump right into it. All right, guys, here's the deal. If you've been following me recently, you know that I have been taking up issue with certain members of the so-called truther community. That's right. Certain sectors of the community. In particular, I'm referencing the, I don't want to call it the gematria people. I want to call it like the grifty, fear porn, scare people with bullshit community. You can call it gematria, but it's not gematria as such. Because I do think that there's some legitimacy to encoding numbers within letters and things like that. But my contention is people have taken it too far, way too far. So we're going to get into it, and I'm going to start calling some people out and showing evidence because, well, Z's tired of it. And this may ruffle some feathers, but hey, what else is new here on Z's show? What I notice is, in particular, there's certain times of year, certain events that these number counters go particularly crazy. And primary amongst those is the Super Bowl. Kind of seems like that's like the number counter, like Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl of number counting. So it's not only the Super Bowl of football, but of these particular people. So we're going to get into it because I don't know why, like, this would never really ruffled me until lately. I don't know. Maybe I'm just becoming more discerning, more scrutinizing. But either way, like, I'm like, don't judge me, says leave Peniel alone. No, this is for Peniel Power. Don't judge me. Because he's one of these people. And here's the other thing I find, don't judge me, is they never change at all. It's a mental thing. It's a psychological thing. It's a particular characteristic that certain people have with these numbers. Smith W has it. Peniel has it. A few other people at this channel. The ones that get mad at me every time I talk about it. They pipe up in my chat. And this guy here, Enter the Stars, has it. This Enter the Stars channel. You can't say anything to them. They'll freak out. Well, guess what? I am going to say something because I'm going to point it out. Now, I said it's grifty, but Rose777 made a good point yesterday. She said, hey, Z, it's not a lie if you believe it. And I'm like, oh, she's right. Because if they believe what they're saying, it's not a lie. Then it's maybe a psychological disorder, maybe a spiritual malady. I don't know. But either way, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it because it's too much. And well, let's just start this up again. This is from Enter the Stars, which is a YouTube channel. And this video is entitled KC Blackout Amnesia Player. And it's regarding the Super Bowl, which took place on Sunday. I want you to watch the obvious apophenia. And again, we've talked about apophenia and what it means. It's when people try to make meaningful connections out of meaningless events or topics. going to play this in fucking fast speed because it's too much to sit here and not. All right.
Welcome back to the channel. Now, this Super Bowl is definitely something that just keeps echoing, doesn't it? It just keeps echoing all of these revelations, and it goes very, very deep, as we just covered.
So it's echoing, and there's revelations, and it goes very, very deep. The other thing I find interesting about these channels is they have tons of subscribers, tons of listeners, and tons of views. Tons. I remember when I was getting into truthiness, I came across these people a lot. It's probably why I'm that's probably why I'm subscribed to them to this day. It's because they were pushed in my algorithm. Get it? I found these channels because they were given to me in my homepage, which I don't follow now, but at some time I did. Interesting. So your truthiness is so good that the algorithm's pushing you and you're scaring people with stuff that you're making up. Whole cloth. Let's keep going. Come on, Sean. I see you here, Sean of Source. I see you here. You better pay attention, Sean, because I'm doing this segment with you in mind. This is basically dedicated to you. And I know you're not going to change because you and I have had this conversation multiple times, Mr. Pineal Power. And I'm going to go easy on you because you're not at least grifting people with this bullshit. So pay attention, young man.
We just covered the whole Taylor Swift entourage on yesterday's show. If you missed that, you're definitely going to want to take a look at that. And the eclipse symbolism pointing forward to the eclipse that's coming up with the comet next to it. Now, if any of this is confusing, then you've got to go back and get caught up on this because we've been talking about the fire and ice for now 5 years. Here's what was revealed.
All right, fire and ice and eclipse, which is funny because our good friend Smith W is also obsessed with the eclipse and relating these random topics to the eclipse any way he can. It appears like Mr. Enter the Stars is following the same program.
What was revealed to me yesterday? What did Usher actually usher in during the Super Bowl halftime show? That is the question. And in what reality does every other artist, many far less popular than Usher, how did he become a Super Bowl guest at this point in his career when his career is over?
All right, so here's the thing. A lot of people late in their career become these Super Bowl presenters. It's not just Usher. So right now he's making a false leap to saying, okay, because they want to usher in a new age of fire and ice, and with this eclipse, they had to bring in Usher to usher in this new age, and saying that it's, it's incredible and incredulous because why would they choose him? So that's fallacious. First off, they had Springsteen, McCartney on, Michael Jackson. All these people perform when it's like kind of like the tail end of their career. The Rolling Stones, et cetera, et cetera. Prince. So to have an aging pop star perform at the Super Bowl, that's not new, right? So again, I want you to see how these people have a narrative that they want to push, so they do everything they can to squeeze these random circumstances into their narrative. And I want to show you the logical leaps they make because I'm tired of it.
We've seen all the other people do Super Bowl halftime shows, haven't we? And all of a sudden his career is supposedly over or close to over. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they choose Usher. And it seems to me that they were waiting for him so that they could usher something in, saving him for the last act, so to speak, right? Well, I have something today that I'm going to show you that's going to blow your mind. Because in looking at all these actors and characters in the cast of The Enemy, something was revealed. The Usher Ludacris Rabies Matrix. So
the Usher Ludacris Rabies Matrix.
Let me take you on the rabbit hole. Here's the scene. Usher with Ludacris at his right hand. I don't know who this guy is, but that could be another decode.
It's kind of weird. Every time I look at Usher, I just picture when he was that elf in that Christmas movie. If anybody's ever seen it, I think it was called Fred Claus. I might be thinking of another Christmas movie, but he played like a black Santa Claus elf. And now every time I look at him, that's all I can see. It's weird.
Decode. Today we're talking about Ludacris. And so as I was looking at the halftime show, and over the last 48 hours, the Holy Spirit told me to look at rabies.
All right, so here it goes. He was watching it. The Holy Spirit out of nowhere told him to look at rabies. See, This is what I'm trying to point out to you guys. The Holy Spirit inspired him with the word rabies in relation to ludicrous. And now he's going to go through this whole Wikipedia page of rabies, and he's going to find the one piece of quote unquote evidence that he's going to link to ludicrous. But just remember, he got the rabies because the Holy Spirit told him to go here. No other reason. I'm just saying. Sean, you better be paying attention, you little shit.
And I was like, okay, let's look at rabies. We've looked at it 100 times, haven't we?
Right.
And we're looking at,
and that's a big YouTube channel, guys. I mean, YouTube page. He's on rabies, and there's a lot of letters, and there's a lot of words there. Wow, what a coincidence. He's going to find one word that kind of relates to the narrative that he's pushing with his apophonic schizophrenic mind. And that's why I'm trying to be nice to these people, because it really is just schizophrenia. No offense.
I am legend and the whole rabies meme, and we've done lots and lots of videos on rabies, but why now? Why was the Holy Spirit telling me to look at rabies?
Why now? Why was I just randomly pulled the word rabies out of my ass? I'm going to connect it to this.
Well, I got to this part of the rabies, and I couldn't believe my eyes.
Oh, good. Smith is here. Oh, so now Smith is going to come in my chat. What did you say, Smith? I'm going to highlight it for everybody. Smith says, you should see the phenomenal alignments that I found for the Super Bowl. Of course, Smith, you're making my point. The Super Bowl is the Super Bowl of number counting. It is. And of course, Smith, you did a decode on the Super Bowl. You and Enter the Stars and our friend Donut Factory. Like I said, Smith, the only thing different between you and them is they've figured out how to monetize this bullshit. You're missing out. Smith, maybe you and I should have a conversation at some point, because monetizing, like my thing, which is pretty much, the Z thing that I do, it's probably not going to be like an easy road for me to like really do something here monetarily. But for you, Smith, based off what I'm seeing with Enter the Stars and Donut Factory, you're sitting on a gold mine. There's apparently hundreds of thousands of absolute morons who want to be scared at nothing and listen to people scare them about meaningless numbers. You should do well, Smith. Like I said, let's have a convo. And we'll do it. You too, Sean. You actually have like a channel that you're promoting. Same thing, Pineal Power. You're missing out, dude. If Donut Factory and Enter the Stars can do it, Sean, there's no reason you shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to do it. We should talk, Sean. I want 20%. That's all I'm saying. With your apophonic tendencies and my problem-solving skills, we should do well, homie.
Ludicrous is the root word for rabies, or L-U-D, lewd. The name rabies is derived from...
Wow, he found it. He found the 3 letters that match up with ludicrous in that whole page. Let's continue.
Latin rabies, meaning madness. The Greeks derived the word lyssa from lewd, or violent. This root is used in the genus name of the rabies virus, Lyssa virus. And I was like, I'm blown away, because then the connection was made.
Right, the connection that the Holy Spirit told you to go to rabies.
Ludicrous was ushered in by Usher during the Super Bowl halftime show. Wow. Now, if you think this is a stretch, I would have never done a video just based off of LUD, the first 3 letters of Ludicrous's name, if I didn't
I think it's a stretch.
Have other evidence, right? You can't make a case with one piece of evidence.
Right, you can't. So now he's going to piece together other evidence to prove his fallacious point.
There has to be multiple pieces of evidence to decode and decipher their symbolism. And here was the other evidence that I got. Apparently, there was some beef between Cat Williams and Ludacris. This was just happened, January 17th, leading into the Super Bowl. So like I cherry picked this from years and years ago. And what were they fighting about? Well, apparently there was a rap battle going on. And Cat Williams said this about Ludacris in a rap battle. You heard the interview on Club Shay Shay. I gave them all a payday. I'm still going effing viral. So why care what the haters say, Ludacris? You must be out your rabid mind. Viral and rabid. Lewd means rabies. And some other stuff he said. These are called signals, aren't they? Now, I dug deeper into Ludacris because I'd never looked at him before. To me, he was just a silly rapper. Well, apparently Ludacris has some very overt symbolism in his life imprint. He was born with.
All right, so he has symbolism in his life imprint. I just can't.
Trump numbers all over him.
Trump numbers.
9/11, 77 means 46, which was the year Trump was born. We also know that.
This guy's got you beat, Smith. This guy's got you beat by my Smith. Are you jealous of Enter the Stars? I know you are, because I know you probably think you're better than him. But right away he went to the Trump numbers, 9/11. Oh man, he must have shot a load in his pants when he saw his fucking birthday was 9/11. Trump 46, and then the 7/7. Whoo.
So know that Trump is the number 77. Now I don't see any other connections between Ludacris and Trump other than this very bizarre connection here. Right? His original name was Christopher Brian Bridges, which is BBC in reverse, which is 322.
So Christopher Brian Bridges is CBB, and if you reverse it, it's BBC, which is 322. Yeah, 3, the third letter, then 2. Oh my God. Look, I'm going to say this again, everybody. There's only so many numbers, 0 through 9. There's not that many, right? There's only so many letters. There's 24. And there's so many days in a year. You get it? So if you give every letter and every number a meaning, eventually you're going to be able to quote unquote derive meaning from these meaningless numbers. Come on, guys. But I know I'm talking to the wall here because the people who suffer from this, you're intractable. Like the Sean, Pineal Power, and Smith W., the Center of the Stars, you guys are my new fascination in the truth community. 100%, bar none, you're my new fascination. Endlessly fascinated.
Some weird stuff going on. They actually even called him Luda as a short, confirming the rabies connection. Now, I don't know any other rabies connections other than the ones that I just showed you. There may be songs in which he talks about this. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But these are the beginnings of something forming as we begin to look at these ushering in rabies on the stage. They've been talking a lot about disease X, right? And it's this big bad wolf that nobody can define. They just call it a future disease. Disease X, and we have an eclipse X coming up. We know that the Super Bowl before the pandemic ushered in the Super Bowl.
No, see, you just went to disease X. You just went to pandemic. You see, you made that leap out of nowhere in your mind. God, I think what I might do is start a retreat where these kind of people can come and we can sit down and we can try to work on this. Because maybe if I dissect their whole spiel enough, I can point out maybe one thing that sort of wakes them up. You just made the link to disease X, which apparently I guess you're associating with rabies. You said you were divinely inspired by the Holy Spirit to search rabies and then found the LUD to connect it to Ludacris. You said that. There's nothing here. There's nothing in the trail of evidence. There's nothing logically that brought you to those pieces of evidence. You did it in your mind. You made it up, dude. Like I said, I'm not even mad at these people because like Rose said, they believe it. You're not lying if you believe it. Except for that donut factory. I think he might be lying. He seems smarter. He seems like he's very kind of Jewy intelligent. He might be pure grifting. I'm calling you out, Donut Factory. You just may be pure grifting people, bro. We're going to cut Enter the Stars and Sean Pineal Power a break.
The Super Bowl ushered in the virus, didn't it? This was the beginnings of it. And there were clues all throughout that Super Bowl in 2020, early 2020, that seemed to signal what we were all about to go through. This is when they started talking about who they were and were not going to allow to come to the Super Bowl. They were floating this at that time in February 2020 before we went full-blown pandemic. So here we are again, 4 years later, and they seem to be signaling virus and rabies again. Now, how does Trump fit into this? Well, I believe he very may well be the father of rabies. Now, how can I say that?
All right, so now Trump, how can Trump fit in? You see, he purposely, because he has a thing for Trump, just like Smith W. has a thing for Michael Obama, he had to find a way to squeeze Trump in here somehow. No link. I want to ask you something, Pineal Power and Enter the Stars and Smith W. Imagine if you guys were detectives. Could you imagine the fucking horror show it would be? Like watching you guys try to solve a fucking crime? No, it'd be bad. You need to follow the trail of evidence. It has to be logical. It has to proceed in sequential order. You can't form a narrative in your head and then spin a story to match it. God, this is so frustrating. This is so frustrating to me.
Well, let's break this down even further. Because I read about rabies. And rabies acts in almost the same way as the side effect.
Fine, Smith. You want a tantrum? You want a tantrum? There's your link. Come on. It's there for you, Smith. You know better to tantrum in my chat, right? Come on. Yeah. All right. We'll wait for you, Smith. Not like it's a live show or anything. We're gonna wait for Smith to come up because he's inspired. I think you're more jealous than anything, probably, Smith, because this guy's got you beat by a mile. Smith, welcome to the show.
Hey. Yeah, no, I haven't watched him in a while. He's got some pretty good stuff.
Is good? So you think this is good stuff? That's your.
I don't know about this. Give me a second here.
Smith, he sucks, dude.
This right here, yeah, I don't know about this right here. I mean, but yes, I saw some of his old stuff. I haven't watched him in a few years, but he had some decent stuff. I tried sharing on his channel when I first made some of my discoveries. He told me to give him his email. He did absolutely nothing with it. It was some of my first original work. When I noticed that Johns Hopkins University and CIA had the same motto, and that Hopkins means son of Hob, and Hob is an old name for the devil, and he never used any of it. And I'm like, that's weird. Why wouldn't he? This was around 2020. So no, I got
because the stuff that you're making up in your head is different than the stuff he's making up in his head. That's why.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm not making that up. I'm
Smith. You know I love you, Smith.
Yeah,
I know it's an issue. I know it's an issue that you have. I know it is. So that's why I don't fucking rip on you, dude. Well, I'm trying to be easier on you, man. Because all right, let's have a little session here, Smith. Let's see if we can. Smith, what I just showed from Enter the Stars and what your research, it's very frustrating for me.
Mine's completely different.
Doing
together is that'd be like saying yours and Jaron's broadcasts are the same. No, they're not. We're totally different.
I'm not saying but Jaron and I have the same ideology, right? Jaron and I share similar ideologies, just like you and this gentleman.
Okay.
So my point is this, dude. I'm trying to get down to something, so maybe we can have a breakthrough.
Okay.
I'm very frustrated by this line of thinking, and I'm trying to understand why, because to me, it's completely illogical and irrational. And when I try to talk to individuals like you and Sean and others who suffer from this, I find it's the same brick wall every time. So I'm trying to have compassion because, Smith, I'm seeing it as something that probably is tough for you in your life. It probably causes more problems than not.
No, I'm good. So yeah, I was just more coming up because I heard you'd mention my name, and I didn't see much of the broadcast. But if you wanted to go back over any of my stuff, I'd be glad to debate anybody, any single person on YouTube.
Smith, how are you going to debate? How are you going to debate your shit
on my stuff now? I'm that well versed. It's not. How are you
going to debate apophinia, dude? How can you do that?
I guess you could go, I guess, by the court of public opinion, and we could show some of my stuff, and then you could ask people, am I just thinking that it's apophenia? Do you guys also see the connection that he's making there? Because I know people, and this isn't mine, but people remember from 2016 when you hear that Trump Pence sound, like trumpets, and then people are like, oh, whoa. But the stuff it's totally different. It's totally different.
So you saying that basically Illinois looks like Trump facing westward is different than Trump Pence?
It's ill, I know is, but you got to get in the boxcar anyways, and the railroad fabric is called the seersucker fabric. And a seer is somebody that sees something ahead of time, and Johns Hopkins University calls the next pandemic the Sears pandemic, SEERS. So that's weird. I mean, I guess that's just a connection.
How are you going to debate what you just said? How can you debate that, Smith?
Well, I guess you would have to ask people, well, is there a connection there? And they would say, well, yeah, I did see how the first Christians were from Palestine, and then East Palestine had a train derailment, and everyone knows how White Noise is linked, and the people in that movie actually lived in the city of East Palestine. And it's all related to Trump.
All right, can we do something here, Smith? Can we try something?
Yeah, so, okay, go ahead.
All right, so I know you're a dad and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And my suspicion is your number counting is causing you issues in your family life. Is that correct? Yes or no?
No, it's not. It's not. I did share it with my mom, and she could not handle it, and I think she's had a breakdown. Probably about a year. Yeah.
So I just said it's causing problems in your family. If you said no,
well,
but
my
then
mom
you
was
shared it with
already
your mom
insane.
and she had a breakdown.
She was already insane. She locked the cupboards when I was a kid. I'd have friends come over and they'd be like, "Who's fucking breaking in your house, stealing the food?" And I'm like, "No, it's so I don't eat." So she was already insane. But
your mom was locking the cupboards.
So,
all right, hold on.
If so she lost it, she probably deserved to.
Hold on, she deserved. Let's. Can we go to the moment where you basically laid all this number stuff in your mom? Where was it? What was the setting?
Well, I shared my channel with her. I had her watch my Let No Man Steal Your Crown, because Revelation 3:11 is let no man steal your crown, and that's when the disease happened, and it was called the crown disease. And what do you know? Your cells have what's called a protein corona. Let no man infiltrate your DNA. So I made a video on it, and then it caught on. People got it. They understood. Kobe was the protein that was buried in Corona Del Mar. I made that up. People said it was corny, but...
All right, so your mom, she watches the video. Were you in the room with her as she watched it?
I just shared it, and then she just started getting all weird, and so I don't need to go into that whole thing. But, like I said, I'm nothing's going to trigger me. I'm good, but I'm well-versed on my theory. Jesus spoke in parables. No, it doesn't have to be a pair of bulls. Para means descending, because Luke 10:18 is, I beheld Satan as Barak Bama in the Hebrew, or lightning from the heights, falling from the heights. And what's a P-A-R-A-D? Look it up. You'd think it needs the E on it, but it doesn't. P-A-R-A-D is a parade. So it's a parade ox. Oh, I get it. Like their parades they have. I get it. Pride Month. I get it.
Oh my God, you're fascinating. Smith, I'm actually a little sad because you're way better than Enter the Stars, dude.
I'm amazing. I'm amazing with this.
You are amazing at this. I'm not going to disagree with you. You actually are amazing at this. And did he just beat you to the punch? Like, what happened, dude? Like, what?
No,
how does he have like 120,000 subscribers?
Well, because I've lost a few channels, but I have zero production, and people can see that. And so somebody said after I made one of my last ones, I had a hiccup in it, and they're like, "Oh, your stuff's getting better." And it was like, I get it, it's not, but you got to deal with it. I don't have to be everybody's saint. I don't have to give you the most entertainment value and special effects, but just listen to the what I found.
Well, he is rather prolific. He comes on every single morning and does like a show.
Yeah, see, I can't do an every single. No way. I don't think anything's that important. But I did find some cool Super Bowl stuff. Yeah, you know what a Vember is? Like November. Do you know what Vember means? It's a mustache kiss. It's going to be the cold November, no mustache kiss, no pre-tribulation rapture. The November rain of...
I'm done. Smith, I love you, but I just can't, dude. I just... He turned his camera on and shook his head at me. Smith, I just can't. Mustache kiss? Why does all right, Smith? Smith. Why do your decodes always go to something gay? At least Enter the Stars isn't like
No, a
fixated
mustache
on the
kiss
gay
like
shit.
a mustache kiss like Jesus rapturing his bride. I don't believe in a pre-tribulation rapture. That's what I meant by it. No, I don't know why I got, but it's all good. I get it. It's not for everybody. People are like, you're bringing down the or whatever. Mustache. It's a the Jesus coming for his bride. If that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know how that could get.
So are you willing to say right here on Z Show that you think Enter the Stars sucks?
No, I think, like with anybody, especially when they're doing the daily stuff, I think they're trying maybe sometimes, and I'm not saying I'm not whatever, but I think maybe sometimes people are trying to find things. I don't try to do that with I don't think it's important. I would never, even if I could I wouldn't want to, I don't want to make money from it. I want the information out there. And I appreciate, if somebody's like, hey, then yeah, they could subscribe to my channel. I'm not making any money on it. I'm never going to monetize my channel. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you watched my last one and didn't see. Everyone knows that Trump is Biff from Back to the Future in the '88, and Trump's sister, whose last name is Barry, is born 8888 days before Barry Soetoro, and so is a synonym for very. It's the variable. He's Soetoro. He's variable. And what did he say when he signed the World Trade Center steel beam? He said, "Yes, we can. And if you can, what are you? You're able. You are able when you can. Yes, we can. Who are we? We are they. They live. They are Satan. They're both genders." So it makes sense?
It's gotta be difficult being you. Yeah. It really does. So is this happening all day in your mind? Like when you're working, I know you do like construction.
Oh, I'll get an idea and I just run with it. It's like Little St. James Island, King James. And what do you know? The day before LeBron was born, it was 11,666 days. Epstein to the day before King James LeBron. And it's called Little St. James Island. I see the connection. Do other people?
So what happens? Are you able to like work through it, or is it like intrusive when this thought comes
but
in?
there's times where it'll 10:30 at night, and I'm like, I got to be up in 4 hours, and I have to. There's times now it's like I'll have to write it down because otherwise I lose my train of thought. But yeah, that's how I've had some of my best stuff. Or people.
Right, so you're in bed. Are you ever fucking your wife and this stuff starts happening, and you're like, fuck, like a mid-stroke, and this shit's happening in my brain?
I'm not thinking about Mike Robinson when I'm doing that, dog.
I bet you can't. It's got to be. How does the alcohol play in? So how's the alcohol? Because, but here's my theory on you. Let's see if you can confirm or deny it. I think you know that there's a level of spirits that when you consume enhances this. I guess we'll call it ability. Come on.
There was a legendary time where I had a flamethrower on someone else's channel that's across the pond. And I wasn't making very nice, but the stuff I put out there was phenomenal. And some of it was original off the top of my head connections I was making that weren't numbers.
All right, so you're saying, hold on, so you were on somebody's channel and you had just the right amount of booze in you, right? And then you just you like went into a zone and you just started throwing shit out that you couldn't even do. Like you surprised yourself, you're saying.
Yeah, just with the way the things will connect. Like the I had the para bowls for a long time. It's the two bowls from Chicago. No, it's para meaning descending. No, it's parad ox. And what's an ox? It's a bowl. What's an ox? It's O like the eclipse. It's the X marks the spot eclipse. It's the ox.
Is that your wife in the background? Can we say hi to her? What's her name?
I'm not saying her name, man. What am I, dumb?
She just walked out. What did she do? Did she come in and bring you your dinner? Because are you in that green room? Are you in that fucking green? What's with that green bedroom that you're always in? What's with that green bedroom? You're taking her out.
I had to take the pads off the wall, and they're green behind the pads now.
Why was there pads?
When I got to level 3 from my insane asylum or whatever,
No, I'm serious. Why are you always in a green like side bedroom? Is that a guest bedroom? What is it?
I have two bedrooms that have that same color scheme, and the living room's a different scheme, and kind of every room's got a color theme to it.
You got to change that color. That green's not working.
It's kind of feng shui, but it's kind of getting old now.
It's like maybe good for like a kid's room, but like you got to change.
Actually,
that.
gray. It looks green, maybe, but it's definitely gray.
Why did she just come into the room? What was did she say we're leaving soon? What was
she's trying to go eat. It's fucking 4:40. And I'm not going to eat dinner yet. I'm buying. I'm not trying to eat 4:40.
Where are you going?
Not somewhere too fancy, but not McDonald's, not Applebee's. I'm able to step up from Applebee's.
Maybe like an Outback Steakhouse or like a Texas
something like that. I got a child birthday, Valentine's Day, and a wife's birthday all within 2 weeks. So it's
it's Valentine's Day. I forgot.
Yeah.
Good for you. All right. Well, let's finish this decode with me and then get the fuck out of here. All right.
Okay.
Let's finish this decode. I want you to give your critique on it too, because I know you're jealous of him. Because I know you are better than him, Smith. You actually are better than Enter the Stars at this, and we're gonna make sure that you get your kudos.
I just think I'm original, but I'm not. I got no knocks on anybody else.
It attacks the nervous system. Sometimes people don't even know they have it for years. It sits dormant in the body based on what kind of viral load that you had when you were infected or exposed to it. And some people, it takes a gestation of years before they go full-blown rabies. Also, another reason why I see a connection between this and the smagnation or the virus, both, is because of this attack on the nervous system, but also this. Only the patient becomes symptomatic, once the patient becomes symptomatic, treatment is almost never effective, and mortality is over 99%. Rabies may also inflame the spinal cord and produce transverse myelitis. Where have we heard that before? I'll just let you read what's on your screen.
Yeah, okay, but see, that's just symptoms of fucking viruses, man.
Yeah. Okay, here's a better one. But
that's just a virus symptom, dude. So she's basically saying two viruses act the same way. What's the fucking... All right, I'm getting upset.
Hey, can I share two decodes that are different, and then I got to jump off, and they're quick ones?
I'm not going to be able to stop you, so go ahead.
All right, well, that's fair. You got Johnson & Johnson, which Trump used to always tout. There's both agendas. Johnson Sr. faked that he had something in the 90s. I don't need to say it. Johnson Jr. fakes that he is something, a woman. They're born 11984 days apart, like 1984. And then you got Levi's. It's an anagram for evil. Genes, as in like your cells. Levi's genes, as in evil genes in your cells. From the founding of Levi's until Obama's birth, 32217 days. I guess the 17's for the Q, trust the plan.
All right, you got it now. Get the fuck out of here. Go take your wife out, man. Stop monkeying around over here, Smith. He's good luck, Smith. Have a nice night. He's taking his wife out for Valentine's Day. That's right, he has a wife, everybody. Smith has a wife. Smith W's got a wife. Much love, dude. Could you imagine what it's like being Smith's wife? Ladies, don't judge me. Heidi, count your blessings. Count your blessings. You're not Smith W's wife. Could you imagine? He's taking her to Outback Steakhouse. What the fuck's that going to be? He sits down with his wife at Outback. Hi, honey. It's it's so nice to be at Outback Steakhouse with you tonight. Oh, that's right, darling. Like I said, this is on my dime. No appetizers. But honey, it's Valentine's Day. Why don't we split an appetizer? All right, fine. But I get to choose, all right? All right, honey, I love you. Did you pick your appetizer yet, honey? Well, I was going to, but I'm distracted. There's 7 appetizers on this menu. There's also 7 salads and 7 soup varieties. 777. That's Trump's number. Oh, honey. Remember we had the conversation on the way over? We weren't going to talk about the numbers tonight? We were just going to try to have a nice night on Valentine's Day. Remember? Not the numbers? Oh, you're right, honey. I know. That's fine. Nobody respects me. I told my mom about the numbers, and she just went crazy, lost her mind. And then I said, good for her. She deserves it for locking up the fucking snacks. I know, honey. I know all about your mom. Let's just have a nice night. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Come on, Smith. This is an issue for you. It's an issue for everybody. Smith, be honest. How many trips to like how many trips to like the school counselor have you had to undertake because your kid basically is like, you know, fucking losing his mind over dad's number counting? So how's this, Smith? Keep the number counting to here. Whenever you feel the urge to try to show your mom or your wife or your kids your number abilities, just come to Z Show. This could be your outlet. We're going to get somewhere, guys. The Z Show is going to be like a haven for all the number counters. That goes for you too, Pineal Power. Whenever you feel like a number spur coming on, we'll come on, we'll do a little segment. And then you'll be able to move on with your day so you won't be disturbing everybody in your life with your fucking insanity. It's too much. Smith, why are you still in my chat? Your wife already came in the room. She wants to get going. It's Valentine's Day. Did you hear what he said, everybody? Oh, it's fucking too early to eat. And I'm paying for it. Smith, it's Valentine's Day. Go take a shower, do whatever you have to do, and get going. Get the fuck out of my chat, dude. It's all right. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I'll probably talk about you tomorrow, too. You're not going to miss anything. Get out of here, dude. Stop. Please. You're embarrassing us. All right, let's keep going with this. God. The fuck?
The attack on the central nervous system. Are the two connected? Well, it remains to be seen, doesn't it? It remains to be seen. Now, over the last couple of days, we've been talking about amnesia, the erasing of the mind. We talked about the Erase Your Brain Taylor Swift tour, in which people were losing their minds. They could not remember what happened. Well, this meme is now continuing into our current reality. What am I talking about? Well, many of you remember or have heard about the Super Bowl Chiefs player, Kansas City Chiefs player, the one that actually won the Super Bowl. What are they saying now? He's saying he blacked out. He doesn't remember catching the football. Do I have your attention? I hope I do, because this is all we've been talking about is amnesia. It wasn't that he got hit.
All right, so this must have made him cream his pants too, because he apparently has been talking about amnesia lately. And the guy who caught the winning pass for the Kansas City Chiefs made a very brief comment that he quote unquote blacked out afterwards. But here's what these people do. These apophonic people do. They take everything out of context. The guy, I'll break it down for everybody. The guy caught the pass, and it was the winning pass. He caught it, and that was the end of the game. But the guy hesitated on his celebration because anybody who knows anything about football knows that 2 or 3 years ago, they changed the overtime rules for playoff games. All right. It's a brand new rule. All right. And not everybody knew the new rule. And they were confusing. Somebody like me who grew up watching football, I don't anymore, but I know all the rules. The rules are even confusing for me because they've been changing it in like the last decade. Long story short, the guy scores a touchdown and he hesitates on celebrating, which is probably embarrassing for him. There was a brief hesitation in his celebration. And then his quarterback was like, we just won the game. And then he celebrated. So his comment right after the game, seconds after the Super Bowl's done, he says, I blacked out. To me, it's just a comment to him saying like, yeah, I didn't know what happened. So that's why I acted weird. And it came out afterwards that he wasn't sure of the rule. That's what happened. But no, just like any apophonic person, They take something out of context. So the guy said he blacked out, and you happen to have been talking about amnesia over the last couple of days. You're going to make the connection here because that's what you do.
Really hard and lost his memory. He literally forgot about what happened. Let's take a look. Now, Patrick Mahomes gave him some grief because he's like, dude, why aren't you excited? Oh, looks like we have some issues. Are you guys having internet issues today? Crazy. Let's try.
No, he said, why aren't you excited? Because the guy didn't know the game was over because they changed the rules for overtime. And he was confused. God, why does this frustrate me so bad? I'm so glad Smith W came on because it gives me practice. I get to learn how to deal with these people. It's helping me too. It's a process.
Let's try to refresh this. Okay, there we go. Let's try to fix this here. So, Patrick Mahomes roasts Mecole Hardman for Super Bowl blackout. Look at this. With a short pass to the end zone, Patrick Mahomes and Mecole Hardman claimed the third Super Bowl victory of the Mahomes era in Kansas City on Sunday. In the aftermath, Mahomes couldn't believe how little Hardman celebrated at first. Crashing Hardman's interview with the NFL Network, Mahomes grabbed a mic. Can I tell a quick funny story? The quarterback asks. Please, one of those answered. Minutes before, during the presentation of the Vince Lombardi Trophy, Hardman had told commentator Jim Nantz that he had blacked out when he caught the ball, in which Nantz immediately moved on from the interview. What the heck is going on here? Why would the guy immediately move on from the interview? It's almost as if Hardman spilled the beans on something. Now, there are
right, or it's almost as if the Super Bowl
this.
had just finished and everybody's running onto the field and they had to go elsewhere. All right, I'm going to have to take a breath on this one. Like I said, this is my new fixation, is the guys, you got to give me a name for this community. I don't want to call it the Gematria community because it's more than that. I'm just going to call it the Apophinia community. Sean, Smith, Enter the Stars, and Donut Factory. Maybe I'll call it the Apophinia Factory. I need a name for this community. Maybe you guys will come up with something that's a bit more catchy. No, not Afrophinic, Rocky. Apophinic. You could look it up. There's a little thing called Google. I know you just learned how to use a computer like 2 years ago, but it's called Apophinia. Unbelievable. Don't judge me, says Sean of Source. I wish I understood. No, don't judge me. You don't want to understand. There's nothing to understand. Poor Sean just makes numbers up and his friends. It's a thing that he has. He's probably born with it. Sean, you know I love you, dude. But I'm giving you the tough love that you need. I'm not going to sit here and coddle you and be like, yeah, Sean, like as you're saying in chat. 88 miles per hour. Trump equals 88, like text code 88022. Mar-Lago rated on 8822. Oh my God, they're hopeless. All right, that's it. The segment's over. I'm moving on. I can't. Segment's over. I can't finish this segment. I have to move on. Links in the chat if anybody wants to come up. I have to move on from this. I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Oh, Sean. Unbelievable. I'm going to have to learn how to deal with this issue. I really am. Because it's not going to go away. I just feel as though this truther community, we've put up with this for too long. How many years are we going to sit here and watch fucking Russian vids, RV, just make a bunch of bullshit up, Enter the Stars, the Donut Factory? We're just going to watch you guys just make stuff up for years on end, and we're all just supposed to sit here and be like, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, you guys aren't fucking insane and leading people. You know what the problem is, Harmon? Let's let Harmon up. Harmon, all right, Harmon, here's my big issue with this. I feel like it's fear porn and they're trying to scare people. I feel like it's just all has to be about like the evil satanic 666, the evil Hollywood cabal, and they're all eating children. It's like, I just think it's fucking fear porn and grifty. And maybe that's why I'm so upset about it. Harmon, what do you think? Please.
Well, I take it back to basics of nature. All this November and all this stuff, those are all man's things. Back in nature, there's only days, months, and years, and we already got them off, and we're under their calendar, under their slavement of us with their calendar. So those numbers are just made up by them in the first place. If you go back to nature, they're not there, and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. It's like I
Huh?
always say, Harmon, a day of the week, a day, a month doesn't exist. That's exactly right.
Right.
That's
And so
exactly
they're
right. The year, like when they say 1977, that's a made up year, Harmon. That
exactly.
doesn't have any significance to anybody. How does 1977 or 2014, how does that match up with anything in the sky? It
Well, let me see. I
doesn't.
graduated in 77. No, I did graduate in 77. You picked that number.
Oh, and there's 77 people watching this month. It's got to mean something, Harmon.
Oh, it is,
It has
isn't
to.
there?
There it
That's
is. Harmon's
yeah.
Illuminati. He's Illuminati.
Anyway, so as I say, the numbers and in nature, they don't have the numbers, and like they say, they put weeks in there, and you're supposed to worship on the seventh day. There's no week in nature. That's man's made up thing. I heard someone the other day saying, "Oh, the moon shows weeks." I go, no, it doesn't. The moon shows months, days of the sun, years of the stars and stuff. I don't know where they start making this stuff up to make it fit their.
Harmon, I've gone into this so many times, man, about how there's no such thing as a week. They just
Right.
decided that there's about 28 days. There's not. It's actually 29 point something. There's two moon cycles. It's the same cycle, but there's two ways to look at it. One is like 29 point something. The other's 27 point something. They average it out to 28. That's it.
Right.
And then they try to say, you can say there's quarters. So they say there's like, there's the full moon, and then there's the half moon, and then there's the new moon, and then there's the, waxing half moon, and then the full moon. And that's just arbitrary. Why not break it down into eighths or sixteenths or halves?
So
Why
whatever fits their
fourths?
agenda.
It's arbitrary. Dude, a 7-day work week. Here's what I look at it, Harmon, like this. To me, a 7-day work week is the perfect amount if you're going to do like a slave, let's say a slave system. If you're like, all right,
Exactly.
we got
That's what it is.
we got a bunch of slaves, we got a bunch of servants. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to work them 6 days a week, and we're going to give them 1 day to rest. Just because we have to. They have to eat, they have to procreate, they have to have 1 day to rest, and maybe a little bit more rest on Saturday. So like a day and a half of rest, but mostly work. It's 7 days is completely arbitrary. But the problem is they've basically exploited our creative manifesting powers to the point that days of the week have an energy to them. Saturday has a feel, Sunday has a feel, the weekdays have a feel to them. We're manifesting this weird system for them. The days of the week are completely arbitrary. Thank you for being somebody else who notices that. They're fucking stupid. Go ahead.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's just crazy about the weeks. Have you ever watched Eric Dubé's calendar one? It's about 29 minutes long.
I don't know.
It talks about the days of the week and how they've invented them and everything like that, and that there's just days, months, and years. There's all this other stuff made up is put you onto the slave of clock. Like every calendar, every calendar for each year for the United States, they know where you're going to be. Valentine's, New Year's, like that. They put those dates there. It's literally controlling you. Those are the dates they know where you're going to be moving. They herd you into those places. Same thing in India. Same thing in Korea. They all have their holidays, and they know where they're going to be at certain dates on that calendar slave year.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's ultimate in social engineering and operant conditioning and programming, man.
It's where you're gonna be in July 4th. Where you're gonna be on Labor Day. They know where we're gonna be at. What we're doing.
To me, the worst one is Christmas, because Christmas seems to have the most power over people's emotions, their mentality, the way people behave around Christmas leading up to it, the stress, the anxiety, right? Then the day itself, and then into New Year's. They're engineering society in such a way. And now, Harmon, we're so many generations into it. Like, I'll say this. Christmas had a little bit of a cachet. It had a little bit of a romantic feeling. Maybe let's call it in the golden era of Hollywood, like It's a Wonderful Life and, A Christmas Carol. And when that shit was first coming out, but now we're like 3 or 4 generations into this, this media programming, whether through movies or radio or TV. It's disgusting now to me. It's like, it's actually insanity, dude. You're Mormon. Did you guys celebrate that stuff?
No, they celebrate Christmas. I'm Mormon. I'm not. How do you say it's like? Are you Catholic? You never go to Catholic, but everybody would call, oh, you're a Catholic. That's how Mormon. I haven't gone since I was 22 years old, but I did learn a lot there and how to do stuff. But we celebrate all the holidays, and even the Mormons, they celebrate and they say, oh, as God is, man. It says as man is, God was once was, and as man is, man. Okay, let me say it again. As man is, God once was, and as God is, man may become. So they think they could reach godhood, and they'll have their own planet in place to create and do their little godhood stuff. I'm going, okay, that's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
About the Godhead?
Yeah, no, but no, it says as man is, God once was. Otherwise, God was once a man. And as man is, God may be, and as God is, man may become. So we may become like God now, because we believe in an eternal progression, that you can eternally progress if you reach the highest level of glory in the celestial kingdom, and you can just eternally progress.
All right, so this is the idea of the creation becoming creators.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's just the idea that they want to, it's almost like how, like, okay, God creates man creates technology, and then so on and so on. And then, then we just proceed fractally down, getting further and further away from source creation.
And they say you'll never reach what God is, because God's continually progressing too. So you'll just progress, and you're never going to catch up. That's their story. I'm not putting them down or not. I'm just saying this goes. And on the Into the Stars, I only read 2 or 3 things on the Super Bowl, and everything had that guy talking about, I didn't know the rules. So he has to be with malice omitting that. He knows he's skipping that.
That's my thank you, Harmon. That's my fucking point, dude. You get it, dude. That's what I'm trying to say. It was quite obvious, because I knew that going in, because I was like, oh, they changed the rules 2 or 3 years ago. I bet there's some players confused. He said it afterwards. It was widely reported. But like you said, this gentleman, Entered the Stars, conveniently left that part out to fit his narrative.
Malice. It's totally to mislead. Intentionally misleading.
Well, they're lying, dude. That's what they're doing. They're lying. That's what, and they're lying for money, and they're scaring people, right? Because it's much scarier to think that there's a guy being mind controlled on the field that blacks out and has amnesia in the middle of his biggest moment of his life. That's much scarier to tell the people. Besides, they changed the rule and he didn't know it. See, you know what I'm saying, dude?
Right. It was written everywhere. It's not like it wasn't written. I didn't hear the blackout part. I didn't know that was even a deal. I just knew he didn't know. The reason he froze, because he didn't want to get a penalty if he over celebrated or did something. He just wanted to make a touchdown.
Right. It was very confusing the way they changed the rules. It's easy not to know the rules.
Especially when they say it's a new game starting. What do you mean it's a new game? It's just like a new game.
That was insanely confusing to me too. You picked it up too. So I could tell you're a football fan, Harmon. I could tell by your icon. On a different note, dude, what's it like to go your whole life never touching a drug or alcohol? What's that like? What's that feel like?
Well, I guess my buddies were cool about it, because even in the 70s, when they're getting high, they come, let's go get Harmon. He doesn't drink or get high. So I was always, before designated drivers, I was the Harmon driver in the 70s. They'd always come and get me to drive them around, because they knew I wouldn't drink. So they were smart enough to know that. So it was kind of cool. No one ever pressured me, ever. So it was like they just accepted me. But I was a good athlete in basketball, so that also makes you where you're not so much peer pressure, because you're the leader on that part, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So you don't have that.
How did that impact, like, say, your romantic life, right? Because like part of romance in this culture, at least, is couple drinks, et cetera, looses everybody up a little bit, I mean, God, Harmon, without alcohol, I'm not sure I ever would have got laid in my entire life. That's what we're saying here. So
Well,
you seem
after my divorce, what happened was I love party girls, right? And I love them. And you'll find out a party girl loves it if their man doesn't drink. Loves it to death.
wait, hold on. So you're saying your wife was also Mormon, so the alcohol wasn't a problem? Is that what you're saying?
No, she wasn't Mormon. I married a Turkish girl.
And what, drink it? So was she Muslim?
Just like I'm Mormon, just like you're whatever you are. No, she's just born in a Muslim country.
Right. Well, they're really not too high on the alcohol too. So
Turkey, they drink pretty much. They drink a lot.
So did she drink?
No, she just didn't drink.
She just didn't drink. Gotcha.
Yeah. And so the alcohol was never a problem. So, but when I got divorced, the party girls that I would go out with and a couple of girlfriends I had for 5-6 years, they were hard drinkers, they want to go out, and they loved it because they knew they could go cut loose and have a wild time, and they had a ride home.
All right, so let's paint a picture. So you would go to the bar, you'd be buying in the drinks and stuff, and they're partying. What are you drinking? Like maybe what?
I'd make the other guys buy them drinks. I said, "You're coming out here." I was like, we're living together, right? I said, you're coming out to the bar. And I said, we're going to go there together, but you get other guys to buy you drinks. I'm not buying you drinks. And she can, you know how girls are. They can get anyone to buy them a drink.
Yeah, of course. It's extortion.
Yeah, they love it. Every one of them was with this. Watch, I'm going to get him. They tell me, they go over there and I'd be setting the table and they go, watch, I'm going to get him to buy me a drink. It's so fun to watch these women act.
And what were you drinking? What were you drinking the whole time? Like Coke?
Coca-Cola? Coke on the rocks.
Yeah, Coke on the rocks.
That's what I always order.
I don't drink. I'm not a big drinker, Harmon, but if I'm in that situation and I want like a soda, I don't drink soda that much. A little bit more now recently for some reason, but that's what I get, Coke. Yeah. Because the caffeine kind of keeps you going a little bit and the sugar, right? So you're not like tired when you're there.
It isn't boring. I get into the scene. I liked it a lot. But I'm now 65 now. That's pretty much past. Well, I was going to say real quick on the ether. I've noticed in the movies and stuff a lot lately, they've been they talk about it as a matter of fact thing. Like in the James Bond movie at the hour and 18 minutes, they mention the ether just as a matter of fact. In this Bosch series of in season 5, they just talk about it like it's matter. Well, we find that in the ether. They just talk about it like it's natural. And then in Nightmare Alley at the 20-minute mark, and I'm just watching this series called Mr. Mercedes, and they just talk about the ether like it's nothing. So, and that one's done by Stephen King. So there's a lot of these writers using the word ether in their movies. I find that fascinating.
They use it in a way that means like dreamy or like ethereal.
No, they don't. They're using it as if the ether. We'll put that out in the ether. We'll put that out in the. And they're talking about just atmosphere. That's why I get a kick out of it.
Right. Yeah. That's a whole topic, Harmon. The ether thing, dude. We can go off on that.
I'm just saying they use it now.
Yeah. I've been going through a lot of flat earther content recently because I'm kind of like I go through phases, Harmon, where I go more into details and then I just kind of back out and I'm more general. Like you say, like you could be very detailed or very general with a topic. But as I go into the details of things, it really does get down to minutia when it comes down to some of these things, like what is ether, what is gravity, things like that. Like what is the sky? But these are just questions. If we can't prove it, then, it's a fun topic. But, I actually think ether could be proven, though. I actually think ether is obvious. But people will scream at me if I say that. Some people. I think it's a joke.
I think the ether is the air from the bottom of the ground to high as up as it goes is the ether.
Yeah, it's just the air.
Also, you made. I was going to correct you today. That's possibility that. There's still things that we believe blindly that are part of the heliocentric model that we don't realize we still believe in. Can you believe that?
Like what? Go ahead.
You said water's H2O.
right? The molecule H2O. What would you say? Water's not?
There's no molecule.
All right,
First
let's
of all.
talk about it. So you don't think molecules exist?
No, not even close. No one's.
All right.
They're just made up because you can't see it, so they can make it up whatever they want. Never seen one. Not even electronic microscope.
Molecular. Thank you.
Did you say Moloch, like the Babylonian
Yes,
god Moloch?
Yes, I did. That's why they're called Moloch.
So
There are
here's
no
what I'll
such
say.
molecules.
So Harmon, you and I can agree on a lot of this. I always say how the periodic table of elements, you know, is
They're
one
made up.
thing, but then we
Like
start talking
one,
about
right? Yeah, but they are.
atoms
They're
and
like
particles. That's another thing. So, but here's the thing, Harmon, you can take hydrogen out of water and isolate it, right? Through
Can you?
electrolysis.
It's like
Can you?
music. The metals and everything are like music, and they work off the heat at which they separate from each other. So it's like the hardest and most galvanized thing.
Who's saying that?
Talks about it. He even talks about the new city and all that, how we use it, the crystals and the metals in the barrel, and how they get finer and finer and finer, and then their color changes, and when they vibrate, they have a different sound. Oh, it's all in the book.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, Morgan. So here's why I could maybe disagree a little bit, Harmon, but we can go into it. I do think elements bind. I just take umbrage with, like, you know, how they talk about electrons and orbiting electron clouds and electron configuration and stuff. That's kind of where I get into it. But you're going even further and saying that, like, it's not even hydrogen and oxygen.
It's magnetic.
That's very interesting.
The magnetic draw between the two objects. You know what I'm saying? Like the static, right? Like if something's smaller and smaller, it's like rub, 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 and then they pull to each other. Yeah,
That's what I think, Morgan. It's called ionization. It's called
Thank
ionization.
you. Oh, I love it that you. Thank you. You even knew the word for what I was saying. It's
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't prove it's H2O. That's just part of the heliocentric model. It's also part of evolution.
What do you think about the noble gases, Harmon?
Noble gases are 90%. I think they're all man-made.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Well, okay, let's take helium, okay? Where did helium get onto the Earth? How did it get to the Earth?
Wait, you're asking me what science says about helium?
Yeah, where it came from.
I don't know. Where does it say? What does it say?
This giant meteor type broke off a star or something and hit our planet one year and brought all the helium into our planet.
oh, right. I forgot.
Okay, interesting.
Now you
Because
think
helium's
noble
the first noble gas. It's helium's number 2. It has the atomic number 2, and it's a noble gas. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Why don't you go get me a cup of helium right now?
So you take it further than me, Harmon. I thought I was like out there with the periodic table. You take it even further than me, man, saying that noble gases are made up.
Radon? Is it radon? I think radon's the heaviest one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Radon. Yeah.
What a garbage! That meter is set to detect at a certain level. Whatever level you put that meter at, it'll find what it wants it to find. It's not there. There's no such thing.
It's the absence of another element. It's not. This is radon. No, it isn't. It's the absence of something. Of something
that meter does.
There before that's not there now. That your body uses as fuel. Which is why if you drop into the radon, you go out black. Okay. If you drop into radon, it goes dark. Okay. Just as if someone pinched off your air tube. Pinch.
Anyway,
let me ask you guys this. Hold on, Harmon. Flat Sabbath says water was here before God.
Yes.
It says in the Bible in Genesis, first words.
Together.
Yeah, it says God came upon the waters. So I see where Flat Sabbath is coming from. If God came upon the waters, doesn't say God created everything else in Genesis, but not the water.
The deep.
Right.
So the deep was there. The deep dark. Without form, mind you. Without space and time added to it.
You can't prove any of that. That's just another book. I like to just keep what we can prove. Prove helium. You can prove helium isn't a natural phenomenon. It's not what we call a noble gas. Radon isn't. What's the other ones? Neon. I like it when they say, "Oh, that's what the sunset looks like" and stuff. Oh, it must be there. Really, I said, why don't you send up one of your weather balloons and to the level of where there's helium? Why don't you just open a container, fill it up with helium, bring it back down for me?
You know, it's like density, how gravity works off density. It's just
There,
the absence of other material that's in the air. Obviously,
there is no noble gases. They're all
Yeah.
man-made. Okay, when you have oxygen, okay, Z, you have oxygen.
neon. Yeah.
Okay, oxygen in a tank, right? Pure, they call it pure oxygen, right? Z?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you release that oxygen, you open the tank. What happens to it?
When you release the oxygen, it disperses in all directions simultaneously.
It becomes air.
Yeah.
It just comes back to what it came from. It's not a compressed air no more. It's not a certain compression that causes the oxygen. When you release it, it just becomes part of the ether and the oxygen again. Like water, you melt the ice cube. Where does the water go? It goes back to
It's
water.
combustible though when dense, oxygen, like you know what I'm saying, because of its density, because it is something. So you
It's
put it
man-made.
together and under pressure, and it can pop if you heat it.
It's man-made.
Bubble, because there's a bubble obviously created in there, right? Like
oxygen's man-made. It's in a tank. Who put it in the tank? Man put it. Where did he get it from? It's compressed air. That's all it is.
All right, Harmon. So how would you conceive of the particle world if it's not the periodic table, if there's not elements? What is matter to you? What is form to you? How do you conceptualize it in your head?
I don't know that part. I just know the noble gases are just a bunch of BS.
Interesting.
everything
Very
is
interesting.
moving. That's how everything's moving
You
with
can
magnetic.
see it in the sunsets. You can see it in the
density.
sunsets. No, you can't. How do you know? You're just assuming because you made this color on a tube on your shelf makes the same color as the sunset. Oh, this must be neon. This must be xeon. This must be this. Really?
Freon.
Well, because you can see how certain things react with each other, right? So you can see that's what chemistry is. A chemical reaction is watching things bind, right? So you know,
man's fabricated world. Whatever it is, it's man can't even make a seed. Come on, everything else is man's fabricated world. And nature, they cannot reproduce nature. Man cannot reproduce nature.
All right, let me bring up Rocky Shepherd because he seems to be taking a bit of an umbrage with some of the commentary regarding the Bible. Now, our friend Rocky is an adherent of the Bible. He is a doctrine believer in Scripture, and which I think is good, Harmon, because it's a good antithesis to your understandings. So let me welcome up Rocky. Hold on, Rock. Let me get you up here. I'm trying to find your intro music, Rock. Because if I'm going to introduce you to the show, we have to do it the right way. Here it is. And try to keep it above the belt, Rocky Shepherd, because I know you're all fired up down there in the chat, and I know you're hot to trot on the subject because you want to pick up the sword for the Almighty God of Abraham, and you want to be His righteous hand of vengeance. But let's.
I've been walking these streets so long, singing the same old song. I know every crack in these dirty sidewalks.
Why is it in fast forward?
Where hustle's the name of the game, and nice guys get washed away like the snow and the rain.
There'll be a load to come. Morgan, come on, sing along, Morgan. On the road to my horizon, but I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me. Like a rhinestone cowboy, running off on a horse in a star-spangled rodeo. All right, Rock. Are you there, Rocky Shepherd?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, so at least you had the balls to come up and not be just a fucking chat whore like some people. Well, what's your issue? Because Harmon, I made a point, Rock. I said, hey, here's the thing. And Morgan, expounded where it said the Spirit came upon the waters of the deep, and separated the waters from the waters to create this earth. Harmon said, fuck that. I can't prove that shit. No, I'm not going to just go along with something I can't fucking prove. And Rocky, you seem to think otherwise. So make your argument in front of everybody.
There's a beginning, but no ending.
You can't prove shit. Nobody can prove anything. What
All
I'm
right.
saying is the scripture says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Period.
In the
You understand?
beginning,
Period. And then it said, the next verse says, the earth, I can't remember. The earth became
Without
void. The earth became void and without form. So he created it perfect. The angels inhabited it and they lived on it. They screwed up, fell. So the earth fell, became void.
into earth.
It became void. It became void before man was created. God restored it in 7 days. That's what the Bible says, but it's misinterpreted. The Bible says, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Period. The earth became void without form. And then we learn why it became void. Later in the book, it tells you how the devil fell. And
I don't know, Rock. I know the verse. It seems like you're stretching the verse a little bit.
No,
It seems like you're stretching the verse. Let me ask you,
the
Rock.
word,
It
the
almost
word
sounds like
says,
you're flood.
okay, let me
Hold on.
Hold
Order in
on.
the court. Order in the Rock. You seem to have a problem with my segment on Enter the Stars. What was your issue?
I don't have nothing. I don't know. I didn't get here till later, and
I seen
watched
you going off. You didn't like I was going off on Enter the Stars. You said you're a supporter of him. No?
Yeah, I've watched Enter the Stars for years. He's got some good decodes.
Good decodes. It's fucking
Yeah,
nonsense.
He decodes movies too.
Oh god damn, he's entertaining.
He decodes all kinds of movies.
The Gremlin movie. Let's have a freaky one. Let's have a spider one. Let's have a this one. Let's have a that one. The Key and Peele thing is crazy. And then he comes out and goes, "Do you want me to tell you that what was going on there?" He explains it about Trump. He explains it about everything, and you can, and it's actually true. When you guys know.
Wait, the Gremlins had Trump in it from the 80s?
My Jesus Christ angel thing that I have, like Morgan's weird. The whole thing of Morgan, right? When that movie came on, the thing of Morgan inside Morgan's head went, Morgan, pay attention to this. This is, you guys know I don't lie. It went, Morgan, pay attention to the screen. They are using the good cameras that Steven only brings out when he is giving an underlying message that is not what is on the screen. My brain went, Morgan, take note. Morgan, take note. This is one of those things that is not what you are seeing. No.
Hold on, Morgan. That's your fucking proof? Is your brain told you?
I knew that when it began. I go, also, I knew it's timeless. When it came on, I go, this is timeless, meaning they didn't make it for 89. They didn't make it for 82. They didn't make it for 2024. They made it for tick, 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 no time.
All right, hold on. Let me hold on.
Let me say something. It's
okay,
true.
fuckface. Go ahead, say something. Go ahead.
Let me say something. It's true. The enemy uses numbers and symbols, and they communicate with others of their gang with symbols. We've all seen them put the hand over the eye, the one eye symbolism, the 666 symbolism. 33 is their favorite number because it means 33% of the angels fell from heaven. It's they use symbols and codes. So to deny that it's real is kind of stupid.
All right, Rock, I can get what you're saying there, and you and I could probably find common ground there. But how does that equate to Trump being fucking decoded from the Gremlins movie, dude? Do you see where this is a slippery slope to other insanity, and it gets people chasing their tails around like a bunch of fucking lunatics?
Yeah, I can understand your point of view. I never watched the Gremlin Decode, but you know, I take this a little here, a little there. I don't believe everything everybody says. I take it in. I digest it and figure out what I'm going to spit out. You know what I mean?
It's a blasphemous parable, so that when Christ says that, when he says to his disciples, so that in seeing I will have told them, but they won't understand what it is I'm saying, but they were given the concept and they still chose. It's them imitating that deliberately, so that it's
all right, hold on. Fair enough, Morgan. I get your point. Harmon, your take. Floor's yours.
I did my Bible bashing years ago. It gets you nowhere. Talk about void. The void isn't not only in the earth when he's made the earth, but it's also in the mind. There's a big void there to make that work.
The whole
so you're
world.
saying like, well, you don't have to bash to make your point, man. I mean, all right, here's the thing, Harmon, but here's the thing. I find that the doctrine and the orthodoxy around the Bible is not just like a neutral topic. Like, I think it's harmful for society. I think it contributes to the control matrix, the mindfuck matrix of this control system. I think the Bible was used to basically create a sheep-like society that is fearful. So to me, Harmon, it's not like a neutral thing, man. I mean, I think they hijacked the scriptures. Let's just say the scriptures have utility and they have truth. It seems as though they hijacked them and used them for the ultimate in tyranny. Go ahead, somebody go.
Yes.
The Bible tells you not to fear, and then you say the Bible is used as a fear tactic. That's kind of bullshit. The Bible, in the beginning, a 7-day week. God created the 7-day week. It has a rhythm. They've tried a 10-day week and it didn't work.
So there you go with the 7-day week again. I just proved with Harmon how it's completely arbitrary, but you say no, it's because of the Bible.
The whole world does the 7-day week.
Where in the sky? So what? Where in the sky is 7 days? What in the heavens is a 7-day cycle? Try to find something.
Let me give you the 7-day cycle. Okay, here it is. The new moon. Okay, the new moon. 7 days later, it's a half a moon.
That's arbitrary. Why not 8ths? Why not 16ths? Why not half? That's arbitrary. It's not 28 days. It's 29 point something. That's wrong.
I never said 28 days.
And there's not 13 moon cycles. There's 12.
28 days.
Well, then how's it 7 then? Because you only
have to wait for the new moon. The new moon is a sliver. You have to see the sliver first. That starts the new month. 7 days later, it's a half a moon. 7 days later, it's a full moon. 7 days later, it's another half a moon. 7 days later, it's no moon. And then you wait for the new moon again. And then the new moon, you see it. 7 days later, it's half a moon. 7 days later, full moon.
In your Bible.
Deny the fucking truth, you guys. I'm sick of it.
The moon is for.
Don't get holy roller on us, Rock. You're not the righteous hand of God. Don't play this holier than now righteous moral fucking high ground shit.
We tell the time by the moon and the sun.
Right. So where's there 7 in there, fuckface? It could be half. It could be 8ths. It could be 16ths. There's no reason it has to be in quarters.
It tells you how to read the moon. It tells you that you wait for the begin. It's 7%. The sliver.
Where does it say that? In the Bible?
Yeah. The Bible. The Bible
says that?
Bible.
Well, I thought a day to God, a day in God's time is 1,000 years to man's time.
That's yes, because God is a day yesterday and today and forever. Thank you.
Yeah, you're bringing something else in. We're talking about time.
That is time. Oh, day is that?
We're talking about how we read time, how mankind reads time. We have a 7-day week.
Where does it say that in the Bible?
Man was made to do
I'm
his
not
best.
gonna, I'm
Took
not
6
gonna
days
do
and
your
then
research,
rest.
man.
And the mama
You don't
said, "Oh,
believe,
boy, take
you don't
all
believe
the
the Bible, so why should I do your research if you don't even believe the Bible? Why should I give you the research? Am I going to give you some passages that show you, and then you're going to sit there and deny it all anyway? So why
I'm
would I
asking
waste
you
my
where
time?
there's 7 days in a week, and there's a week, whatever. Just where I don't know. I really don't know where it's at.
On the seventh day was given to him to rest.
Okay,
And therefore we
the
rest. For
Passover,
God did.
the Passover was on the 14th day of the week, which is a full moon. The Exodus, God gave them a full moon on the Exodus, the Passover. And it says it was the 14th day, which was a full moon. Because, no, let me see, was it the 14th day? Or I can't remember.
It doesn't
Anyway,
matter. I'm just saying, where's the week? You're not saying week. I understand that's still going on the moon. It's
a week is a 7-day. Okay,
Right.
you can
14 makes sense. Exactly. 14 makes sense. 28 to 29. That makes sense.
Yes.
One,
Yeah,
one,
that's
two,
what it
3, 4, up to 29 makes sense. Where does 7 come in? It's arbitrary.
okay, you get the new moon. The new moon is determined by you have to see the moon.
Oh, it's in quarters. That's right. Take away the numbers. He's right. It's in quarters.
Okay.
It's in quarters.
So the first day is a Sabbath. The 8th day is it's the first 7-day week, because the first day of the month is the new moon, which you take that away, and so it all determines when you see the new moon. That's what starts the month. And the first number 1, 8, 15 plus 7 is 22, and then 29. Those are the weeks. Those are the 7th day of each week. Is the first day of the month is the new moon, which is 1. 7 days later is 8. 7 days later is 15, 22, 29. And then you wait for the next.
You're
Then
just
you wait
not
for the
getting it.
next
All right.
month.
So why do we divide our weeks by that? Why do we have our work weeks, our mentality? Why is it you work Monday through Friday and then there's Saturday and Sunday? How does that make sense with anything?
It's a rhythm God gave us.
See, that's a problem, because that's where I disagree with you. I think it's a rhythm of control. I think it's a rhythm of slavery.
It's a rhythm.
You're just going to say it's a rhythm of God. I think it's a rhythm of control.
From your heart.
Do you control the moon? The moon is rhythm. It's a cycle.
You just broke it up in quarters arbitrarily. Why not halves?
No, I didn't.
No, I don't think halves. I don't think so, Z. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying I think we have to give more to what he's talking about. We have to.
Do you know that you can tell the time? You can tell the time everywhere, all over the world, what day it is by looking at the moon and the sun. You don't need a piece of paper. All you need is the moon, the sun, and a sundial.
I know that. It doesn't prove your point. You're actually proving against your point.
No, you're trying to just disprove the Bible that it's a 7-day cycle. God said rest on the 7th day because it's a cycle. They tried it in a 10-day cycle once. The Romans tried a 10-day cycle, and they gave them a day off, like 1 day every 10. Taking a day off every 10 days don't work. You need a day off every. So God told the morality, if a country doesn't give you at least 1 day off a week, then you're living under tyranny.
Oh, really? That's all it takes, tyranny? So, oh my God. Dude,
well, that's part of it.
So you're saying it's okay to work for 6 days where they work us, they steal our money, they steal our energy. Okay, they sit there like a bunch of fucking fat cats on our sweat and our labor for 6 days, and we get 1 day to sit there and recover, and we're supposed to be thankful for that. Praise God.
Doesn't say to work for them. It says to work. You work for yourself. You don't have to work for the enemy. You can work for yourself for 6 days.
Oh, really? Then it's not even work then. That's not even work.
Yeah, it is.
That's a livelihood.
Yeah, well, I have to work, guaranteed, to keep my place going.
You're home, yourself. You're home, yourself. Right. Because when the Lord goes, I need you to focus on the truth now to his servant, the servant knows, then taking care of my body is my job right now. And the Lord says, yes.
Well, taking care of your land, taking care of your home, taking care of your family. You work for your family to provide for your your wife and your children. It's good to work. It gives you a purpose, gives you a reason in life. You don't just sit on the couch and watch TV and football all day and bread and circus and get distracted. You can get up and go do some fucking work.
Yeah, and you won't digest properly if you don't work. You know, like if you don't work, you won't eat. But and the Lord doesn't mean, but you still might be putting food in your mouth. But the Lord shall not be wrong or mocked. It'll show up on your body as a miss.
You think I'm supporting? Everybody in chat thinks I'm supporting the system. I don't support the system.
Here's how you support the system, because
I haven't voted my whole life.
But here's what you're missing, Rock, and I've been trying to tell you this for day one. You support the figure presented, that Yahweh figure, the dragon of old, who usurped this reality and is the system and has been the system for at least 6,000 years, and you keep wanting to fucking call him God. You are supporting the system, Rock. You're a statist.
You guys are complete morons. You know that.
That's your rebuttal? That's your rebuttal?
Yeah. You say that the creator was Yahweh and he's the devil?
No, you say the creator is Yahweh. You're the one who says the creator is Yahweh.
Yeah, but you called him the devil.
I called him the usurper.
Oh, the usurper. You think that God didn't want Adam and Eve to have the knowledge of good and evil, that he tried to I know the old what you're trying to push, that God tried to keep us from knowledge, so he said we couldn't eat from the tree of knowledge. And so therefore God must be trying to keep us from knowledge. I've heard that argument before. That Yahweh
said it's not needed.
Knowledge.
It's real. It's there. It can be had, but it is not required or needed. It can be done away with.
Rock, what was the first commandment given to Adam?
God didn't give Adam just one commandment. It says,
I said, what was his first commandment he gave to Adam?
What are you talking about?
To multiply and replenish the earth.
Yeah. Okay. That's a positive. Those are positive. Those are positive commandments. He gave one negative command: do not do this, and all the other ones were positive.
Well, you're just like Enter the Stars. You just ignore what was asked.
Enter the Stars. You don't like Enter the Stars?
Ignore the headline I just gave you. I asked you a simple question. First one was to multiply and replenish the earth. Second one was, do not eat the tree of knowledge, for the day you eat of it, you shall die. You shall know of gods.
Exactly.
Contradicting commandments. You can't multiply and replenish the earth unless you have the knowledge to do it.
You will join evil.
No.
Right.
Okay.
Because that's what you do with slaves, Rock. That's what you do with slaves. You don't teach them how to read. You don't teach them how to think. You keep them ignorant. You keep them fucking stupid, so you could basically slave their ass to death. Come on, Rock. Get with it.
I'm going to tell you what the knowledge of.
Why do you think Jesus has anything to do with that figure, that four-letter figure, tetragrammaton? What makes you think there's any connection there? What makes you think, besides the copy and paste bullshit job that they tried to put on the original scriptures? Why do you ignore all the other scriptures that were kept out of the approved Bible? Why do you believe a Bible that went through the church, that went through the Roman Empire and then went through the British Empire and was edited and fucked with, and you want to stick to it, Rock? Why do you want to attach the Christ figure to this Yahweh? What's your fucking problem? Get with it. Go ahead.
Jesus walked in the garden with Adam and Eve, dummies. That was Jesus in the garden.
No, the angel of the Lord is obviously not Jesus. You can check the scriptures. That's bullshit. The angel of the Lord. See, you're fucking just like Enter the Stars. You're just like Enter the Stars. You're just like Shaunosaurus. You fucking have a narrative and you want people, you're trying to fit a story into a bullshit narrative. Go ahead.
Let me explain what it means. the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. The tree of good and evil. It means Satan has good. Satan does good. He also does evil. The knowledge of the tree of good and evil is the knowledge of Satan's good. Satan is trying to do good to counterfeit God's plan. So he's trying to bring about 1,000 years of peace. He's trying to bring about one world government under Satan. He does good, and he also does evil. The
And
They
knowledge of
already did it. The one world government already existed, always existed, and was very likely instituted by this figure that you and so many other people are worshiping.
the
Get
devil has been
with
trying
it,
to
Rock.
bring about a
It
one world.
already happened. It's
Oh,
always
yeah.
been. Rome never fell, Rock. Rome never
Satan
fell. It's
cannot.
always been running. The one world government is nothing new. We're just waking up to it.
Exactly. The Satan's been trying to bring about a one world religion under him, but he can't do it because he's a liar, a murderer, and a thief. He
And God-
can't
Right.
do
So
it.
why do you worship him with your prayers?
Because Jesus is the true one that's going to bring about world peace when he destroys the devil and his wickedness. You guys get catch up, will you? You guys are so behind on what's going on.
You're
guys are-
behind. You're the behind one.
You guys are so behind. You guys are the ones believing the lie of Satan. You guys believe the lie of Satan, that Jesus is a lie and it's all a bunch of stories. The Bible wasn't written in English. It was written in Hebrew and Greek and Aramaic, and the original words were inspired. What was meant to be said has been misinterpreted and screwed with, for sure, because that's what the devil likes to do. He likes to confuse everything and get everybody to think, oh, the Bible's a conspiracy written by the controllers. What a joke. You guys are so funny. You think the Bible is a conspiracy by the controllers when it is the one that identifies the controllers. You guys are so funny. It makes me laugh how you guys are you've fallen for the fucking lie, and you think you're right. You might think you're right, or you might be actually working for the devil. Who knows? But the devil's real. We all know that. And he's not Yahweh. Yahweh's not the devil. Yahweh's the one that exposed the devil. Told you not to eat from the knowledge of good and evil, which is the devil's good and the devil's evil. The devil wants to do good. He wants to counterfeit the 1,000 years of perfect peace. That's what he's trying to do now.
Let me ask you something, though, Rock. What about all these other religions that aren't Christianity? What about, let's say, the myriad of other religions? Are they just what? What's the deal?
You tell me. What are they?
I don't know. You tell me.
So
Because here's the thing, Rock. I could look at Christianity and I could take the good out of it. I could look at almost any religion and take the good and the bad. You just seem to want to follow doctrine, man. It's a hang up I think you have, Rock, but there's so many people that have the same hang up. Here's my problem, Rock, because it leads to a spirit of righteous indignation. It leads to a spirit of righteous indignation. It leads to a spirit of judgment, and it leads to a spirit of discrimination and tyranny. That way you could have the moral authority, the moral high ground, and then if somebody doesn't fit in to your pre-indoctrinated beliefs, then they need to be dealt with. That's my problem with it.
All the world used to believe in a higher power. There were all kinds of religions. They all knew there was a God until they came up with this fake evolution, Big Bang theory, where they wanted you to believe that everything there's no God, it all just big banged out of nothing. So everybody used to believe in a God. And so we all had religions. And so, right, there can only be one true God. There can't be, otherwise he wouldn't be God, would he? I'm not saying that you have to believe in my God. I believe in my God. I'm not trying to force you to believe in God. I'm just giving you my opinion. The scriptures has more wisdom in that collection of books than you can gather all the books in the world and not have as much wisdom in that one collection of books, which they may have hid some of them. And, you know, they may have hid some books. We agree they hid some books. But if you get the, you know, that it was written over 3,500 years, 66 books written over 3,500 years, over 45 different authors, all got the same wisdom. They all worship the same God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Paul, Peter, John, Mark, Luke, all worshiping the same God.
See, I don't
And
think they were, Rock. That's a different. I don't think the Christ figure was worshiping that God. I actually think the Christ figure was speaking out against that God. He told the Pharisees that they were a pit of vipers. He said they were the synagogue of Satan, and he trashed them every chance that he get. He shit on the Sabbath every chance he could. He was shitting all over that fucking Bible, dude. How do you not see this?
he wasn't shitting on the Bible. He was shitting on the Pharisees who misinterpreted the Bible and said that the Sabbath was made for
The Sabbath was made for man and not man for the Sabbath, is what he said.
right. Jesus said it
Why
was
do I know
made.
the Bible better than you?
Well, I was trying to remember. I knew that too. You don't know the Bible better than me. You
I
can't know the
do,
Bible.
Rock.
You don't believe the Bible, so you can't. Bible takes faith. God requires faith, and if you don't have the faith, God requires faith to be saved. He requires faith to understand the scriptures, and that's a non-meritorious means of perception. Requires the filling of the Holy Spirit. It's a non-meritorious. All the other.
All right, I got a fucking headache. Hold on a second. See what happens? Ugh. Let's take a second, Jack. Let's breathe.
Breathe through.
Jack, why do I care? What is it in me that actually like cares about exploring this stuff? It's tough because all right, let's be fair with the topic and not I don't want to shit on Rocky because Rock, you make good points, and it's like I always say, every truth is a half truth. But that's the problem with you, Rock, because you don't see it as a half truth. You get to then choose a side, and anybody who's not on that side is then the outcast. It makes you good and them evil. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
That's been the paradigm, the religious dogma. That's been the problem. People cling on to these because they get that idea that those who aren't like me are the enemy, and the enemy is to blame, not me.
It's just rather convenient to then hold up a tradition, hold up scripture, claim it's the ultimate truth, and then basically, wield it as a sword. The Bible's become a sword. It's become a mechanism and a means for domination and tyranny. And I'll let you back up, Rock. Calm down. I know you're fired up. You got your fucking cowboy hat on. Here's the thing, dude. I was trying to explain this to Rock, right? Because he keeps saying that the devil's trying to institute a new world order. And I'm trying to tell him that the devil that he's worshiping instituted this order 6,000 years ago. It was perpetrated from the Sumerians down through the Greeks, then to the fucking Romans, who then instituted the Church of Rome, who now still run everything to this day. So you want to tell me about this new world order and Satan's taken over? This has been Satan's world. This ain't God's world. This isn't Jesus's world. It's fucking delusional. Let me hold on. Go ahead, Jack. Say something. I'm gonna let Rock back up. It's only fair.
I actually agree with much of what you're saying, and Rocky brings up some interesting points, but I think in the bigger picture, what you're saying is more accurate, that the dogma, the long-term plan has been played out through what should be good, has been played out through religions. And I heard it presented. It's an interesting idea to consider that perhaps what we know of as the Christian church and Christianity today was put together by the same people largely who murdered the Christ, had him persecuted. So if the mindset of the chosen people continued, well, religion is a great way to capture all the others and to turn them into your willing slaves.
Good point.
Some of what you're saying, Z, I resonate with a bit.
I've been walking these streets so long, singing the same old song. I know every crack in these dirty sidewalks of Broadway, where hustle's the name of the game, and nice guys get washed away like the snow and the rain. There's been a load of compromising on the road to my horizon, but I'm gonna be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy.
All right, Rock, did you hear the point I made? Here, see, this is why I like the discourse, Jack, because it sharpens the conversation, and through discourse, which is often uncomfortable. But when people engage in uncomfortable conversations, you can get it down to a fulcrum point of disagreement, right? And I think this is where the disagreement I have with Rock and others like him is he romanticizes the world of history and sees this age as an age of where Satan will be taking over. And I contend it's the opposite. I contend that humanity has been under tyrannical slavery since all of recorded history, and nothing is new under the sun. It gives me a different idea of God and where Jesus plays in that role. Go ahead, Rock. Prove me wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong. Listen, the Bible says that this is the devil's world. He's the ruler of the world. That's right. He's been trying to counterfeit and make God's perfect environment. He's trying to make the world perfect without God, but he can't do it because he uses lies, deceit. He's a murderer from the beginning. And so you're right. The Bible is the sword of God. The word of God is alive and powerful, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing of the sunder and the soul and the spirit and of the joints and the marrow, and is a critic of the thoughts and intents of the heart. All scripture is God-breathed and is profitable for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God might be mature, fully furnished unto all good works. The Bible explains what we're supposed to, it's a handbook to live in the devil's world. That's what it is. It tells you to separate from the world, because the world is wicked. It's controlled by the devil. So we have to live in this world, but not be a part of the world. How do you do that? You live free. You mind your own business. You don't you go by the book, keep the commandments and love your neighbor and love God and do these things. You're right.
Go ahead, Jack. Go ahead. Go. Hold on. Let Jack go.
Ahead, Jack. Go ahead, Jack. Go,
well,
Jack.
Rocky, I'm wondering. I believe kind of what Z was saying is that even when Jesus walked, he pointed out that this is a world controlled by Satan, and people press back. He came to start the war, to divide. He brought the power of God's word, the sword. The power is in the words. He exposed the truth for us so that we could understand and we could know today. And so actually what I think is supposed to happen is, rather than Christians waiting for things to get worse, I think we can recognize that there's already hell on earth for many people. And if we unite, right, the brothers and sisters, the disciples of Christ, those people who call themselves Christians, if they unite as the body of Christ, shining the light, being the love, sharing forth the love, right? Service to the needy, care for the elderly. That's what we're supposed to be doing. If we unite, we become the return.
Right, unite. Let me ask Rock a question based off what Jack just said. Why are there so many different denominations of Christianity that seem to be warring with each other? You had the Catholics and the Protestants, they went to war with each other, they ripped each other apart in multiple places in the world. Why is there so much division in the Church of Christ? Your thoughts?
The devil uses false religion. That's his ace trump. So he gets into the church, brings about false doctrine, tries to bring chaos to the church. That's one of his things. Brings lies, and he divides the church. The church is not a building. It's not a denomination. The church is the body of Christ. Jack's right. We're supposed to be an example to the world. We're supposed to let our light shine. That's how, the Bible says that believers are the salt of the earth. We are what preserves the earth. If all the Christians and all the believers who have the Holy Spirit indwelling in them were to leave the earth would become more wicked than you can imagine. And that's what's supposed to happen at the rapture. When the tribulation begins, the church is taken up. All the believers who have the Holy Spirit indwelling in them will leave. So the Holy Spirit will be not working in the people on earth, and that brings the chaos, because the wicked will be fully in charge.
All right, that's just one interpretation. The rapture is a Jesuit thing, right? All right, hold on, Rock. Let's get into theology. Let's go down some of the theological things. Polygamy. Is it spiritual or not?
Okay, you have to know the difference between sin and evil. David had 7 wives, 10 concubines. He committed adultery. He committed murder, but he was never one to promote evil. He never promoted socialism, communism, or any like evil type crap. So you can laugh, Jack. Laugh your ass off, Jack, because the laugh's laughed on you, buddy.
I love you, brother. I'm laughing with love, but I am laughing at the fact you bring up communism and socialism as being more evil than murder and what was the other?
Adultery.
Adultery. Thank you. Yeah.
David paid for his sins. He paid. He lost his first child when he.
I didn't say adultery, Rock. I said polygamy. That's not adultery.
Right.
Okay, polygamy is, yeah. Okay, so the thing is, back in the time when David was king, the kings could have any woman they wanted. It was a sign of nobility that you had more than one wife. But and David fell for that crap. But
why can't you have more than one wife? Come on, Rock. If you could have had more than one wife, you wouldn't have entertained that. Please. It probably would have fucking saved you a lot of trouble in your life if you could have incorporated another wife and not had to deal with some other stuff. Why this monogamy? Where in the New Testament? Where did Jesus say monogamy? Besides Paul, where's Jesus talking about monogamy? He doesn't. Rock. Come on. It's a control fucking matrix. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
You could be right on that. I don't know, but the definition of marriage, you're married the moment you have intercourse with a woman. You are considered married under the law of God. So if you have intercourse with a number of women, you're married to all them women. Whether you take care of them after that or not, where you could have a one-night stand and get a divorce the same day, but you're married once you have. According to us, but David, I guess he decided every woman he screwed, he was going to take care of, and he didn't get a divorce. It's just you know, so he
Right, good for
screwed
him.
18
All right,
women.
come on, let's move on to the next homosexuality.
Well, it's natural for a man to have more than one woman, but a woman to have more than one man is kind of, you know, like a bull has lots of cows, you know.
Right, you and I can agree on that. But what about two men lying together in a sexual act?
That's not natural. That's an abomination. It
That's
goes
an
against
abomination.
it goes against the laws of nature. It goes against the laws of God. It's unnatural and abomination is what the God.
Why
Lord called.
why are there so many homosexuals?
It's been promoted in Hollywood. Hollywood's promoted it. It's the devil likes it because Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, when a person does evil things and he gets promoted in the devil's world. So if you want to be promoted by Hollywood, become a tranny, promote homosexuality. You know, that's what I'm saying. You know, they promote that crap. You know, if you want to be promoted in Hollywood, become a tranny. That you'll get a fucking, job and shit. They'll pay you $33,000 a month or something. Who knows?
All right, Rock, you're a good sport, and we got some spirited conversation. And at least I got to understand a little bit where you are coming from. And much love. Final words, Rock. Final thoughts for the audience.
God loves everybody. He loves you all. He wants you to find salvation. It's up to you. You first have to believe there is a God before God is going to show you the way. I mean, if you don't believe in God, then he's not liable to even tell you who to believe in or what is. So if you don't even believe in God, like the whole world used to believe in God, they believed in some God. Now, they got these people that I don't even believe in God. There's no God, I know, Z, you believe in a creator because, you believe the earth was created. It wasn't just big bang shit. You're a flat earther. It's obvious that somebody designed it. I mean, how are you going to get a big bang with a dome over the fucker? Somebody had to create the son of a bitch. You don't blow up shit and then get a what do you call those those,
correct. It's impossible. It goes against every law of nature.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks
Much
for having
love, Rock. Much love. Take care, Rock. Rock E. Shepherd, everybody. Good stuff. Jack, you got time or you got to split?
I was actually going to split out. I wanted to thank you, though, sincerely.
All right. Much love, Mr. Talcott.
Hey, be cautious. I don't know if you heard, but I had a couple of idiots join my panel today. And
what do you have? They did the inappropriate thing.
Yeah. So I'm figuring out editing and stuff like that tonight. So just be aware, but God bless. Love you.
All right, Jack. Back at you. Much love. Mr. Jack Talcott, everybody. Morgan, say goodbye really quickly. I need to get to the news. Sum it up. Quick.
Sum everything up? All right. Love covers a multitude of sin. So if two men are being honest, right? It's nobody else's business. The same as if you and your wife had anal, right? It's like, oh, that's not perfect. Round holes for round pegs. And the God's
right.
Like,
okay, I'm tired of the fucking moral. I'm tired of everybody being the moral fucking authority. All right, much love, Morgan. Peace out, dude. Everybody wants the moral high ground on everybody else. I know it feels good to be right and everybody else wrong, but can we get over it? How did I become like the champion for the LGBTQIA community and the fucking truther community? That's the one thing I realized, like being around all these like channels and ideas for so long is like there was like everybody has different ideas. Like Enter the Stars, is busy looking for meaningless numbers in things, and people are looking all over the place. But there was like one commonality amongst the truth community. It was just that fucking they hated gay people. But somehow that's the thing everybody bandied about. It's like homosexuals are fucking wrong somehow. There's a gay agenda, Z. Don't you? Of course I see the. Guess what? There's a lot of agendas, not just the gay agenda. Why is everybody so hung up on that one? There's agendas everywhere. Get a grip, people. Why does Z need to be the one to fucking wake all your asses up to this? And I don't care. I can come on here and play the card. I could be like these channels that have, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they play on people's fears. They do the Christian grift. Christian grift's an easy grift. People are already programmed for it. Their mind is already set. It's already there. It's not hard to do. Throw the Christian grift in with some fear porn. And next thing you know, you're good to go. You get a bunch of people to follow you, and they'll, we're not doing that. Get a grip, people. All right. Let's regroup here. Let's fucking regroup. All right. My voice is holding up, which is good. And much love, everybody. We all have our differences of opinion. We can come up here. We could have spirited conversations, and then we could move on. Doesn't have to be anything more or less than that. Could be adults about it. All right, everybody. It's about that time. What time, Z? What time you mean? I mean that it's time for news. Bum, 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 bum. In tonight's top story, at least 8 children among 22 hit by gunfire at end of Chiefs Super Bowl parade. 1 person killed. 8 children were among 22 people hit by gunfire in a shooting at the end of Wednesday's parade to celebrate the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl win, authorities said, as terrified fans ran for cover, and yet another high-profile public event was marred by gun violence. 1 person was killed, identified by her radio station as a DJ. Kansas City Police Chief Stacey Graves detailed the shooting's toll at a news conference and said 3 people had to be taken into custody. She said she has heard that fans may have been involved in apprehending a suspect but couldn't immediately confirm that. Well, of course, yet another article that is, in my book, purposely ambiguous. That's another thing I'm noticing about the news nowadays. It's just more mindfuckery. They present the stories in a diffuse way, unclear. They just give you a taste because it's more about entertainment. It's more about, again, the fear factor than it is about the actual news. I'm sure they have more information than they just told us there, even in this brief time. We don't know what happened with the gun. It could have been 2 gang members that happened to be, on the outskirts of the parade. They have the parade right in the city. I live in Philadelphia. Shootings happen. I live outside of Philadelphia. Shootings happen every single day in Philadelphia. People die. Camden is a city right across the river on the Jersey side. People are getting shot and killed every day. So there happens to be a parade today. How are we going to link it to something? Again, you got to promote it. You have to associate a shooting with this national event, this Super Bowl parade. Obvious agenda, obvious narrative. Let's disempower the populace, more control from the top down. We'll end up in a society basically where, all the criminals get to have all the good weapons, and all the people of conscience, all the people of true morality basically then just become, dependent on the protection from the state. And why not? What could go wrong? From NBC News, Jason Kelce says Travis Kelce had to move since dating Taylor Swift due to safety reasons. Jason Kelce shared that his brother Travis Kelce had to move from his Kansas City home for safety reasons after his relationship with pop star Taylor Swift started. The topic came up during the Philadelphia Eagles' conversation with Shaquille O'Neal on an episode of The Big Podcast with Shaq. Jason Kelce said he's had to adjust to the fame brought on by his brother's relationship with pop star, which began in 2023. So as we know, this Travis Kelce, this tight end guy for the Chiefs, he's dating Taylor Swift, and he had to move because it's as rich and famous as he is, multiple time Super Bowl winner, multi-millionaire. It's nothing compared to this Taylor Swift. I've said it before. She's the new it girl. It's all about Taylor. It's all about Taylor. Too bad some of you guys think she's a dude. If they are pulling off this, trans thing with all these ladies throughout the years, again, I'm open-minded. I'm willing to look outside my bookends. But again, as my audience knows, this is one thing that I'm not willing to look at for some reason. I'll remain ignorant on this subject. Like, I'm okay with that. In other news, are we about to find out the moon's origin? Japan's space agency says it may now have clues. Thank you, Japan. Let's get into it. From Tokyo, an unmanned lunar spacecraft has captured and transmitted data analyzing 10 lunar rocks, a greater than expected achievement that could help provide clues about the origin of the moon, a Japan space agency official said Wednesday. For 4 days, the smart lander for investigating moon, or the SLIM, which landed on the moon last month, has used its multiband spectral camera to study rock composition and worked on examining lunar rocks, said Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency project manager Mr. Sakai. Here's my question. I mean, it's nice and all that Japan sent their lunar lander up there, this smart lander, as they say, and it apparently has this, what they're calling a multiband spectral camera to study the rock composition. That sounds great. But wouldn't it just be easier to study the rocks that you apparently brought back? On those 6 missions you did, the manned ones apparently that the U.S. did from 1969 to 1972, wouldn't that be a much better way to study the moon rock? You could actually use a microscope. You could do like acetone tests. You could have geologists study it. Wouldn't that be a much better way to, as they say, try to find out the moon's origin? Why do you need to send a probe up there that's going to do this so-called multiband spectral camera analysis? That sounds like a lot more difficult. Sounds like to be a much more difficult way to examine rocks than transmitting the data. I mean, you'd probably have to interpret and interpolate that data. Why not just study the rocks that they brought back? Why not just go again? Why didn't you just go a bunch of times? If you went 6 times over 3 years in the late 60s and early 70s, it should have been easy just to keep going all these times. Why did it take you so long to get back up there? Why aren't you still back up there? I don't know. I ask these questions, I don't know. I'm one of these people. I ask a lot of questions. Weird. My name is Zetetic Warrior. Zetetic means to ask questions. I guess it's just what I do. In celebrity news, Ben Affleck reportedly hurt when he caught J-Lo casually sharing his love letters. Oh, Ben. Oh, yes, because nothing says love quite like monetization. On Tuesday, Variety's Stephen Rodick published a profile on Jennifer Lopez that covers the Let's Get Loud singer's latest project, a 3-part multimedia bonanza that includes an album, a musical film, and a documentary, all of which Lopez self-financed for $20 million. Jeez. The theme of the 3-part project is Lopez's life as a serial romantic, according to Roddick, and will heavily focus on her husband, Ben Affleck. Well, if it's about her life as a serial romantic, how's it going to heavily focus on him? What about all the other, romantic interests that led to her being a serial romantic? Get out of here, everybody. Goofy, poor Ben. Hey, Ben, that's what you get for being a simp. You went back to your ex who's older than you and aged out, obviously. What happened, Ben? You couldn't hack it? I never understand these certain guys that are just gluttons for punishment. Hey, does anybody really think this Ben Affleck J-Lo thing's going to work out? You think Jenny on the Block's going to stick around with old Ben, be there by his side as he gets old? That's the biggest thing about marriage. The biggest bullshit lie that guys get sold is, oh, you don't want to die alone. You're going to die alone anyway. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to get married. And once you're going to hit a certain part of your life where you've made a nest egg and you're about to retire, and your wife decides, hey, I don't need to sit here with this bag of bones, take care of him as he withers away and dies. I could just split, take half the stuff anyway. And they do it more and more and more. Why? Because there's less social stigma around it. There's less societal shame, and actually women are rewarded for it. So, Ben, we'll be following the story about you and J-Lo closely, and we'll be waiting for you as you become single again, a little bit more gray, a little bit older. Oh, Ben, will you never learn? All right, folks. That'll do it. Did we hit our Yeah, we're a little over 3 hours. It's a good place to stop. Otherwise, it's just too much. It's too much. Melanie says Kendra G's going live at 7 Pacific. Don't look for me on that show, Melanie. There's no way you're going to see yours truly on the Kendra G show. You might have got Talcott to do it, but it ends there. It ends there. Don't judge me, says Tommy's going live. Don't judge me. You love Tommy, don't you? Admit it, don't judge me. You were initially drawn to Tommy because you're attracted to him. I can tell. Like, you had a thing for Tommy. Kind of weird. Like, it's understandable. He's not completely, like, fucked. Yeah, Melanie, it's not going to happen. You call me a party pooper. It's not going to happen. I'd rather, like, entertain, like, a situation where you and I get together, Melanie. That's probably something I could, that I'd be for. I don't need Kendra G to hook me up with somebody. It's not going to work out well. Right. DJM says Tommy's handsome. Well, much love, DJM, Melanie, and Tommy. Flat Sabbath says he likes Tommy. And your name's Flat Sabbath, which pretty much makes you diametrically opposed to our friend Tommy. I have a Tommy segment in the can, but I'm waiting to get the right guest. I'm trying to get a certain guest on to do the Tommy segment that I have lined up. So, Rock says Z can only handle a little bit of Rocky at a time. No, Rock, you bring it, Rock. You always bring the goods, good sir. We know that about you. We know that about you. And Rocky likes to come here and call us heathens and godless, but Rock knows he loves Z show. He knows where it's at. A little disappointed we didn't get to hear from Sean of Source, because I was highlighting his group of number counters. That was a little disappointing that he didn't come up here and stick up for his fellow compatriots. Venus Cupcake, you're another one that really likes Tommy. You're way into Tommy. You're kind of like his, almost his producer, co-host. It's kind of cool, I guess. It's weird a little bit, but I could see the draw to Tommy. I could see it. All right, let's wrap it up. Let me see my farewells. All right, everybody. That'll do it for Z Show. And yes, parting is sad sometimes. We'll be back here again tomorrow. If the fates are willing, we'll be back here again. Who knows? You never know. I'm going to plan on it, but you never know. All right, everybody, much love. Take care.